and Chris starts right now on 97.3 The Fan.
Hey, what is happening in San Diego? And a very pleasant Wednesday afternoon to you. Wherever you might be, you should be here with us. We are broadcasting live today at the brand new Buffalo Wild Wings right here in Mira Mesa. It's located at 9690 Reagan Road. Just took a little ride up here for the show today. Very easy to get to. If you're taking the 15 freeway, go west on Mira Mesa Boulevard. You go down past Mira Mesa High School, and right at the corner of Mira Mesa and Reagan Road, Buffalo Wild Wings will be on your right. Skraby, I thought it was on the left.
Me too.
So I was in the left lane.
Me too.
I pulled a Southern California driver move and went across 6 lanes to turn right to get into Buffalo Wild Wings. It was about as illegal a move as I've ever made.
I got to say, Chris.
Did you do the same thing?
Did the same exact thing.
You did the same move?
Because I, too, thought it was on the left.
Yeah, I did.
And I was like, if I go left here, it's going to take me an extra 15 minutes to get to this place. I need to get there right now.
No, I was looking on the left, and I got to the corner, and then I looked to my right, and I'm like, oh, it's over there. So, yes, I waited for traffic to clear, and I did one of those across like 6 lanes.
Yes, I did something that I hate, and
yes,
Tony knows that too. That I would hate
bad
this.
Driver.
Yes,
you're a bad driver.
driver.
Don't call me a bad driver.
Oh yeah, we're both bad drivers, Tony. Tony Gwynn Jr. is of course at Petco Park, where tonight the Padres are back in action, taking on the Detroit Tigers, and absolutely, Tony, the very thing that both Skraby and I complain about often, which is inconsiderate drivers. We both were inconsiderate drivers this afternoon as we made our way and held up traffic to get on site here. How are you today, buddy?
I am well. Skrabe, I think you sent me yesterday's camera because
I think I did too.
I am backstage at the ended whole site there. So
we got to get you on stage.
I'm sending you another one.
I'll wait for that. Other than that, I thought I left behind all of the humidity and thickness in St. Louis and Tampa. That turns out I was dead wrong. I apparently brought it with me here to San Diego.
Yeah, thanks for that.
It's quite hot today.
It's hot, it's sticky, and honestly, it was one of the last things I thought about as I was getting into my car to drive up here today, was going to ask you about how miserable the weather is, for tonight's game down at Petco Park, and then I realized it was only a week ago that you were in St. Louis. So as bad as this is, it can't be that bad, but it's going to be uncomfortable out there for Yu Darvish's return to the mound.
Yeah, can't be mad about you returning to the bump today. Yeah. Clap it up. The couple people that are clapping it up, I hear it.
Yeah, it was me. I was trying to get the crowd going, but they're eating, so.
Yeah, everybody's eating their
Let them enjoy their wings, man.
I'm looking out in I'm looking out here at the Buffalo Wild Wings, and everybody's eating their wings. So, yeah, but we got some folks here because they know, as the rest of you should know, that we are giving away 3 pairs of Padre tickets during the show today. The first pair will be given away at 3 o'clock. That is terrific news for the folks that are already here and have already put their name in the hopper because, frankly, the odds are in their favor. The tickets are for the Padres-Astros games, or Astro game, 2 weeks from now on September 18th, I'm sorry. But those will be some great games. The Astros coming in here, and you'll get some tickets. Now we're going to give a pair away at 3 o'clock. So if you can get here by 3 o'clock, like I said, your chances to win are going to be increased.
Yep.
But we're also going to give away a pair at 4 o'clock and another pair at 5 o'clock. So if you're at work and you can't get here till a little later in the afternoon, don't fret. You will get your chance to win some Padre tickets out here today. And we want to thank Kevin for having us up here, Kevin and his staff. For having us up here to Buffalo Wild Wings. Again, everybody's eating. Nobody's clapping. I understand that. But
I keep hearing the one-off clap. In the
it does sound like there's like 2 people in here right now.
There's a lot. Thank you. There's a lot more than 2 people in here.
It's a
right
little
now.
more crowded than it sounds, Tony.
There we go.
There's a wild fan right there, but I don't know if a
wild fan.
A Wild Wings fan, yes. But I've been to Buffalo Wild Wings before at other locations, of course, and it's a great setup here, right? I mean, there's at least 100 TVs within my view just sitting right here, and this is certainly a great place if you live up in the Mira Mesa area. I mean, come out. You can watch Padre baseball here. They've got the Sunday ticket. They got every, Saturday afternoon, evening college football game, and this is one of those places for those who like to watch 9 or 10 games at once. I would think this is your spot.
Can I tell you something about Buffalo Wild Wings, Chris?
Sure.
So when I moved to Cincinnati, this was before the days where you could easily watch out-of-market games.
Right.
You would have to buy the DirecTV ticket thing to get those games. So I wanted to watch 49er games. Went to Buffalo Wild Wings for the first time, and I went every single week the rest of that season to watch 49er games.
You mean they allowed you to do that? If I ran that particular Buffalo Wild Wings, I would have had you removed by week 4.
Do you know how many boneless wings I ate that season?
Well,
probably hundreds.
You do
seem like a boneless wing type of guy.
Can we not do this right now?
You're not a traditional wing guy. I don't know. They kind of went down a notch for me right
hands
there.
raised for those that are here. Traditional wings with the bones in.
Okay.
Okay. And then boneless wings.
There's less boneless wings than there are bone-ins.
But it's close. It's close.
Okay. All right.
I raised my hand for the boneless as well, Tony. I am not.
Really?
I am not. Yes, I am not about working extra hard to eat my food.
I stumbled upon Adam in the kitchen last week, and he was eating bone-in wings, and I turned the corner, and I was like, look at that carnivorous beast over there chewing on bones and stuff.
Listen,
it's so disgusting.
It's the one thing that Adam and I do vibe on is traditional bone-in wings.
No
you
way,
know
I'm boneless.
There's the
boneless is the preference.
Bone-in wings is
you know what? You guys all seem like some flavorless cats. So
Flavorless.
That makes sense. Bone-in that brings the flavor. So I mean, I guess that's okay.
I see what you're I see what you're trying to say, Tony, but it's not working. At least not on me. Let me ask you this, Mr. Gwynn: Are you a fan of crab legs? Where you have to work like 20 minutes to get 1 ounce of meat out of the crab leg?
I mean, only if you're an amateur does it take 20 minutes to work a crab leg to get the meat out of there. You got to have the right tools to get that done a little bit faster.
I should have learned from the Skraby days. I walked right into that one. So,
man,
well deserved. Anyway, we're going to be here all day, at least up until the pregame show at 5:30. So come on up. Make sure you say hi. Grab yourself some Buffalo Wild Wings, bone in or bone out. Either way.
I can't wait to bring my family there. We live close to that Buffalo Wild Wings, and my kids and myself enjoy a good traditional bone-in wing.
There you go.
We love ourselves some Buffalo Wild Wings, so we'll be down there to frequent that place.
Why do I think that Tony feels like he's better than us, Chris, for liking his bone-in wings?
Again, do you reverse park in or do you park in regular? That's all I'm going to say to you, buddy.
Here we go.
Yeah, and in that vein, yesterday at the end of the show, I walked out to my car, but I couldn't get in my car, Skraby.
Why?
Do you know why?
Why?
Because somebody was parked backed in next to my driver's side door, and I couldn't get out. You know who that person was?
Was it Tony Gwynn Jr.?
Yes, I had to wait patiently while he got in his car.
See,
and then I could only then could I go home.
It's the iPhone elitism. It's the reverse Parker elitism. It's also the boneless wing elitism.
You know what it is, though? I was kind enough to offer my partner, Chris, an opportunity to get in his car first.
No, he
turned me down. He turned me down. So
I knew
at that
he was.
Point, I had to get in first.
He climbed in.
Well, if you gave him the option and he didn't, that's
but,
on him.
I knew he had to get going. He had to get us ready he was the commissioner of our fantasy football draft.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm glad you brought that up. I have quite a few bones to pick with our group of men here.
And I don't blame you, Tony, because you gave some hard deadlines on when people were supposed to be ready for the draft, and many of our players did not follow through.
We had some last-minute cats get their keepers in. And mind you, I'm also a father of 4, so I also had to be at a school night last night.
Yeah,
And I had it lined up perfectly. I'm going to go to school night. I'm going to be able to, hear from my kids' teachers and ask some questions that a parent usually has, and then I'm going to run home and get ready for these 2 drafts. Instead, I have to find out that, 2 of our guys put their keepers in late. They were sitting as first-round picks. Now, I could have just been a jerk and let them stay at the first-round picks, and they would have lost. That would have been tough for them. But I scrambled, pushed the draft back an extra 15 minutes so everybody could have their things ready.
Why.
Yeah, that's why.
Oh, yes, it wasn't because of Tony. It was because of players that were not following,
Can we
abiding.
name these players, please?
I don't know if we need to name the players.
Was Chris's godson on the list?
No, he was not. Connor was not on the list.
Oh. Because he did a lot of trash talking
he was
last night.
in violation of the 48-hour rule. Everybody else was in violation of the 24-hour rule. So
but
we got it fixed, and we got a good draft when it was all said and done.
It was a lot of fun. We'll go over some of our selections maybe a little later in the show. Skraby looks like he's got another good team this year as he tries to defend his championship. And we'll all be trying to knock him off this year, but we'll let you in on that a little later because I know a lot of people out there had their fantasy football drafts, and I hope it went good for everybody. I hope that nobody had to put up with what I did, which was Skraby drafting 2 spots ahead of me and stealing at least 3 of my players throughout the course of the evening. So I hope that didn't happen to you out there. Padres, though, back in action after a weird Tuesday night off. We got no help on the scoreboard, unfortunately. The Dodgers won and the Diamondbacks won, so things remain tight in the National League West. Or not tight for the wild card. The Dodgers have extended now to a 5.5-game lead. Look, the Padres are only 2 games back there for a minute, Tony. But the Dodgers, man, they got everybody back healthy, and now they're the Dodgers again. So Padres, all they can do is, go back to work tonight, keep on winning. You look at the wild card, and I'm not concerned. But the fact of the matter is the Diamondbacks and the Braves and the Mets are all hanging around, and so the Padres need to keep playing good baseball, and, that's what I think they'll do.
Yeah, no, there's no question. This is why you go week by week because it changes so often. And this is probably the first time in the year that you can stop going week to week. You can start living with, each and every one of these games because there ain't much season left. I think if you thought the Dodgers were just going to fold in the tent, you probably had wishful thinking on your end.
Yeah,
and
we were all
If you've been watching the Diamondbacks at all since the second half of the season, there's no way you could have thought that they were just going to pack the tent in and fold it up. And so the Padres they're going to have to earn this down the stretch. That's just what it is. They've played good enough baseball throughout the year that they can certainly go out and finish this month off the way we expect, and everything will look good. They'll most likely get a chance to host a wild card series if things stay the way they are, which would be awesome. I know the Padres haven't had that opportunity since, this new format came in. They went on the road to New York in 22. They had to start on the road in the next round against the Dodgers before, finally getting a home game, a couple home games to start a series against Philly. But to host a playoff series like that would be pretty sweet to have here in San Diego. So in order for that to happen, though, they're going to have to keep playing the way we've seen them play. And perhaps you can make the argument a little bit better. I think they went 10-8 in that 18-game stretch there.
Yeah.
Will that be good enough to earn the top spot in terms of the wild card? I'm not sure it will be.
Yeah, it very well could come down to the last 3 games, which are in Arizona. You could end up, those 3 games could basically be between 2 teams that are in the playoffs, but playing just to see who gets to host that first round 3-game series. It could very well come down to that.
There's a scenario. I mean, if that scenario comes true, we either are going to switch spots and come back to San Diego and turn around and play the same team, or we're going to just stay in Arizona and play the series there. So
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
going to feel like spring training all over again.
It is going to feel like an extended
Tony's going to have to
training.
Tony's going to have to rent his castle back for the week
Fall
down there
training.
in Phoenix. Huh? Get your little spring training castle for the week, but. Yeah, I think it's going to. I really do think it's going to come down to that, and But look, the good news is the Padres do have a little leeway on the Mets and Braves. Not a lot, but if you look at the Padres, 22 games left, and I shouldn't do this, but here I go. I'm about to. If they go 11-11, which seems simple, the Braves or the Mets would have to go like 15-6 to catch them, and they could, but. I like the Padres' chances to, ultimately be in this thing. But, as you said, Tony, let's just not mess around. Let's go, not 11-11. Let's go 14-8, and let's make sure we put this thing away properly. So,
yeah, 14-8 could be the number to get you that top spot.
Yeah, if you're gonna catch the Dodgers, you may have to go like 19-3, which the Padres have already done once this year. So, you never can tell.
Do you remember that talking point? Man, the Padres haven't won 5 straight all season long.
Oh, yeah.
And then they've definitely blown through that one. That was one of their early storylines. They just can't win 5 in a row.
Oh, they were going to never win a series, sweep a series. Do you remember that?
Yep.
They were the last team in baseball to sweep a series this year, and then they swept about 5 out of 6 series. So,
what was the team that they beat for their first series win this year?
You mean first series sweep?
Sweep, yeah, sorry.
It was somebody terrible. I can't.
Was it
remember
the
who
A's?
It was the A's. Jackson Merrill walk-off home run to send him on the plane wherever you guys went.
Well, Jackson Merrill, Skraby put this out here on the notes, and it's really good because there are some out there who think, well, maybe Jackson Merrill, it's a rookie. You talk about it a lot, Tony, the rookie wall. He has avoided hitting it. And, if you look at this guy in break up his season, first third of the year he had 291. The next 40 games he hit 288. And the last 40 games he's hit 294. He's been equally good in each of the 3, sections of the season. He's not superhuman, but he's unlike a lot of rookies that just keeps getting better and better and better. And it is really a testament to what must be a really strong work ethic and preparation ethic, Tony, because otherwise, if you're a rookie and you don't prepare for it, you are going to run out of gas by August and September, and he just hasn't.
Listen, I'm not down there to see the prep work up close and personal. But what I can tell you is when you love baseball as much as somebody like Jackson Merrill does, none of this is ever work. You know what I'm saying? Like he gets better and he gets a thrill out of coming up there and coming through for his team and winning ball games and making winning plays. That's what Jackson's all about. I think he's, you read those numbers with 291, 288, 294. Is that what you said?
Yep. Yeah.
That speaks volumes to what makes him different. There ain't too many rookies that you're going to find that have that kind of consistency through the whole season. Now, I look at this clock. It says 2:18, so I'm pretty sure we got to get the break. We can continue this conversation on the other side, Chris.
We will enjoy doing that. Again, we're broadcasting live from Buffalo Wild Wings, Mira Mesa, the corner of Mira Mesa Boulevard and Reagan Road. If you're coming west from the 15, it's on the right side of the street. Don't do what Skraby did and cross over 6 lanes of traffic.
Will you please include yourself in that thing?
I said don't do what Skraby and I did.
No, you said Skraby.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
I know what I said. I'm sitting right here. I said Skraby and I did.
And everybody else is sitting right here, too, and they're saying that you just said Skraby. He's shooing me right now.
Shooing you off.
Even Tony's saying you just said Skraby.
All right.
Is this the time where you said the Angels are playing the Angels?
Don't do what Skraby did and go across 6 lanes. That time I said it. More Gwynn and Chris from Buffalo Wild Wings in just a minute. Hang in. Good to have you with us today, folks. Do you want to go out for a great meal that doesn't
I believe his music means we're back, although I can't see us on the screen, so I'm not sure. Nor can I hear Chris. Oh, there they go. Everybody's
Sorry about
getting their stuff back on.
Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
we got a lot of fans coming up and saying hi here, Tony Gwynn Jr. You know, we gotta talk to the people here at Buffalo Wild Wings.
That's what we're all about, the people. So take your time. If you need to take your headphones off, go ahead and continue to meet and greet. 226 on the dial. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, Matt Skraby. My guys are at the Buffalo Wild Wings in Mira Mesa. Give me the street again.
Mira Mesa Boulevard, Reagan Road.
And
if everybody put their Wild Wings down for 1 second, just for a second. I want to hear a roar of the crowd that makes it people understand out there how many people are kind of here enjoying the day. 1, 2, 3, let's go.
There we go. That's it.
All right,
That's
Tony Gwynn Jr.
everybody. See, look at this.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. We got a great crowd. We're giving away our first pair of Padre tickets at 3 o'clock. And I'm told we are going to give away our first 3 winners at 3 o'clock. Those 3 winners are all going to get Buffalo Wild Wings for a year.
Yep.
Ooh.
That's right.
So those prizes are also be given away. So get here by 3 o'clock. Get yourself a chance to win some Padre tickets or some Buffalo Wild Wings for a whole year. That's coming up, Tony. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So come on down if you're listening. You got some time. You want to have some wings, maybe a brouhaha, watch the game. Come on down. Buffalo Wild Wings, they got you covered. All right, Padres back in action. Yu Darvish makes his return tonight against the Detroit Tigers. And
what are we expecting, Tony? Yeah,
I was just getting ready to say. I'm not 100% sure it would be fair to have some type of expectation because, I mean, he hasn't pitched since May 29th. That is that's a long time ago. And I would say by most accounts he's gotten to this point pretty quickly. And now, granted, we don't know what he was doing when he was away, but he's gotten to this point way quicker, it feels like, than most pitchers would have gotten to this point. And so I don't know what to expect. I certainly am hopeful that, it looks a lot like Joe Musgrove in his first outing back. But, again, it's been a lot longer time in between the last time he was on the mound at the big league level versus Joe, the last time he was on the mound. So I don't know that I have any expectations, but I am happy to see him back on the mound, obviously. And, regardless of, how it ends up turning out, this is still a boost for this ball club to have his presence back in the locker room.
Well, there's, you talked about the boost Fernando gave everybody over the weekend, and now you get another one with Yu Darvish out there. I mean, this is the move. These 2 moves are the ones, that have a lot of people, even outside of us, Tony, that there's people believing that the Padres really have a shot. And I'm talking about a shot, like to go all the way. It's there now. I mean, this team has played so well for so long without either of these 2 superstar players, and now they both come back. And I think that is something that people are saying, hey, and I'm sure the players feel the same thing themselves.
This year definitely feels different. I remember 22, the Padres, as well as that playoff run went, going into the playoffs, I don't remember anybody saying, oh, man, Padres, they got a great chance to get to a World Series. I've heard that in both of the last 2 stops we had in St. Louis and Tampa. The folks in those organizations stopped Jesse and I both, told us both that you guys got a legitimate chance to get to a World Series. That wasn't the case in 2022. And I think that's one of the differences from that playoff run and season to this season and possible playoff run, at least right now. Again, I don't like counting my chickens too soon. We got a whole month to go. But that being said, habits are habits at this point. They have really set a good foundation that doesn't worry me like it may have in the past. Like I remember 22. We didn't know what was going to happen, right? I mean, we virtually backed into that playoff series. And I don't know if you guys remember, Gosh, who was the outfielder we had earlier this year?
Zokar?
Adam Eaton.
Oh,
Adam Eaton. Remember, we had him on the show, and he was telling us, because he was playing for the White Sox at the time, and all of a sudden, like, the crowd started cheering. And he had just hit, like, a go-ahead double or something like that, and the crowd's cheering here at Petco. It was because we had found out the Padres had got into the playoffs because whoever it was lost, right? And so it kind of backed in.
It went down to the last couple of days. You're right. Yeah, it did.
Is Adam talking to somebody on us, or is he mouthing to somebody else? Oh, he's talking to somebody else.
He's talking to somebody else.
He's talking to someone else.
This is why I don't understand why he's on the camera right now.
Well, because the audio comes from Adam's computer, so we can't figure out a way to get him
Yeah,
because
he was confusing me there right now. He's like giving hand gestures, and he's not even talking.
He sounds like he looks like he's in like a really serious conversation too.
It does.
It looks to me like he's trying to land a plane over there. I don't know what he's with all those moves he's making. He has no idea
we're talking about him.
No, he has no idea. No idea. But nonetheless, this does feel a lot different this season at this point.
Yeah.
Than it did.
There's one thing I'm looking forward to tonight, too, Tony, is the lineup. There's lineups, and then there's lineups that really interest me. I'm assuming that Profar would be, back in there tonight. I'm assuming Cronenworth will be back in there. They both had the day off on Monday when Fernando returned. So how is Mike Schilt going to work it with Fernando coming back? You and I talked about it yesterday. This team, these players, they probably won't, even blink an eye at it. They'll just go bat where they're supposed to bat. But the rest of us are all going to be wondering, who's he going to slot where now that Fernando's back in there? So that lineup I don't believe is out yet. At least I don't have it.
My guess is he's going to bat second again. The question becomes who bats third.
Right.
Because you got Prof as a switch hitter, you got Jake as a true lefty. You can keep your left, right, left in some sort of fashion. But my guess is that's my only guess is that Toddy will hit second. After that, I really don't know. I know Manny's going to hit fourth, and I'm pretty sure Bogey's going to hit fifth. How do the pieces slide in around them?
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting tonight at least to see how Schilt starts this. Because this is the first time he's had his full complement since June. So it'll be interesting to see what he does.
Did you lose your voice last night yelling during our draft at me because I took your players?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I don't know why that question bothered him, but it
I don't
did.
know why you're throwing it in the middle of a Padre discussion, but, whatever works for you.
Well, it sounded like you were wrapping up, so I was just
the thing that happened last night is I told Connor, who I was on the phone with, my godson, during the draft, that Skraby had our bedroom bugged where we were doing the draft. Because, you always start talking about the player you're going to select, 3 or 4 picks ahead of time. And you're thinking, well, I want to take this guy probably. And Connor says, I'm going to probably take that guy. And then Skraby swoops in, and he took him almost every time. It was really annoying. So
it was really annoying.
Yes, it was annoying.
Everybody was annoyed at me, too, that I picked Jamar Chase, even though he wasn't my keeper this year. But he fell to me. No one wanted him before me, so I took him.
He was the best available option for you.
Your nephew or your godson, I'm sorry.
Godson.
He is fantasy football trash talker. In the chat last night, someone made a pick, and he just wrote, reach.
I saw that. I laughed.
I'm like, what is happening? And then he just kept commenting on everybody's picks.
Well,
I'm like, why don't you just do
as
your own thing?
As he would probably say if he were here, when you're a 2-time champion like him, Skraby,
that's true.
You'll be allowed to do the same thing.
He's a double champ. He's a double champ.
So he can talk that.
What have you done for us lately, Connor?
All right.
Not much, because I won.
Sounds like the trash talking's already.
Listen to this guy.
Can you even imagine what's going to happen if he does it again this year?
Oh my gosh, we can't let it happen.
I'm about to do it in baseball. Knock on wood. So.
We're going to fire you from the show. We're going to get Adam and fire you. It's going to be. That's it. That's the only.
It's over.
It's the only explanation or solution I can come up with.
Ooh, I have the lineup. If you want to do that before we go to break.
Nah, let's do it when we come back.
All right.
People will be excited. They'll get it when we come back.
We don't have Matt Snyder on again, do we?
No, we have picks coming up here, so we can, we can get the lineup in.
It said Matt Snyder, so I wasn't sure if
he was
coming back for a second bite.
Are you on the right sheet?
I'm definitely on the right sheet.
9-4?
Maybe I'm not. Oh, it is the 4th, huh? I'm on the wrong sheet. Sorry. My fault, Scrape.
It's okay. It's okay.
All right, let's go to break. We got our AFC picks coming up, our predictions, plus a Padre lineup when we return.
All right, welcome back to Gwynn and Chris. Chrisello, Matt Skraby. We are together today at Buffalo Wild Wings in Mira Mesa, right on the corner of Mira Mesa Boulevard and Reagan Road. And we're here until 5:30. We're giving away our first pair of Padre tickets at the top of this hour. It's crowded in here, but there's room for you to come on by and get your name in the hopper and potentially win some Padres Astros tickets for the game a couple of weeks from now. Better than that, or beyond that, we're giving away our first 3 Buffalo Wild Wings for a year prizes, and those will also be at 3 o'clock.
Yes.
First round at 3 o'clock.
So we found out we are the wing powers at B is what I'm trying to say.
We are the
here.
wing powers.
Powers at B.
Yes.
So we determine who gets the wings every hour.
Right.
Great.
We're going to give them away, and we're going to give away the Padre tickets. So make sure you get by here by 3 o'clock. And if you don't make it, we'll do the whole thing again at 4 o'clock and then one more time at 5 o'clock. Tony, of course, is down at Petco Park where the lineup is out for tonight's game, and I am interested in seeing it because it should have Fernando, it should have Profar, it should have Cronenworth. So how did Mike Schilt, Mr. Skraby, decide to deploy everybody?
Batting leadoff, DHing Luis Arraez. Batting second, playing right field, Fernando Tatis Jr. Batting third, playing left field, Jurickson Profar. Cleaning up, Manny Machado at third base, Jake Cronenworth first base, Xander Bogaerts second base, Jackson Merrill center field, Campusano catcher, and McCoy shortstop.
Interesting.
McCoy.
All right, so he's putting Cronenworth fifth, and he's just dropping Xander down 1. That's basically what he did, Tony, and I think you hit on it by saying that Mike Schilt really likes, and why shouldn't he? It's worked all year, going lefty, righty, lefty, righty, lefty, righty as much as he can.
Yeah, makes it more difficult for an opposing manager to line up multiple. Because remember, you got to face 3 guys, and so there will never be a scenario unless you're bringing somebody in to face the bottom of the lineup in this case, where you're going to get to have the matchups you want, and you're going to always have the element of left, right coming down that in that scenario, and it just makes it more difficult, a little more challenging for whatever said reliever. But I liked it. I mean, this is kind of what I expected. You move Bogey down so you can maintain that left-right thing you got going up and down the lineup. I think, when you really break it down, your option was either to bat Cronenworth third or bat Profar third. Profar's had the better year so far. I mean, really all year long. So it just makes sense. It lines up really, I think, perfectly with Profar being a switch hitter in that 3 spot. He gets to be in front of Manny, who is extremely hot right now. So hopefully that gets Prof some more pitches to hit. Remember, he's been hitting in front of Cronenworth for most of the season, especially once Toddy went down. And I just think it's an even better spot for Profar to see some more pitches. And so I like this lineup, man. It's got great versatility in this lineup. A bunch of different guys that do different things.
Yeah, the only piece that's missing now is Ha-Seong Kim. But before we rush Ha-Seong Kim back, we should all say, and I don't think anyone would argue, that Mason McCoy, from a guy, I didn't really know who this guy was, honestly. I mean, I don't follow the minor leagues like a lot of the fans do. He has really done a good job, Tony, and defensively he's been real good. And, when he needs to come up with a single to right field or a bunt or something, he hasn't hurt this team at all.
Again, another guy who knows who he is. When he gets to the plate, he isn't trying to do anything but put a good swing on the baseball. He's not trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. He's not trying to, do damage necessarily. He's just up there trying to put together a good at-bat and hit the ball hard somewhere. And it's perfect for what the Padres needed when Kim went down. Most importantly, he's a great defender. He's done some nice things
really
up the
good.
middle that are just steady. Like, he's not flashy by any stretch of the imagination, but he makes every play he's supposed to and then some. And so, Mason McCoy has filled in quite nicely for Ha-Seong Kim in his absence.
I want to go back to Luis Campusano for a second because some of the fans, and myself included, he struggled defensively When are we going to see Elias Diaz? Do you think he's close to making his Padres debut here?
I don't know. The indication I got listening to Schilt talk about is that he'll get his opportunities when they come. Like, I don't think they're in a rush to change anything. Camposano's put some good at-bats together here as of late. He has some lapses, I think, mentally sometimes defensively, but I don't know that you're going to get that much better from Elias Diaz. I mean, part of the reason he was let go in Colorado was because his defense had kind of slipped a little bit. And so I don't know that they even brought Elias in here because of his defense at all. I would mainly think it was probably because of his bat. But he'll get his opportunity for sure.
I think you'll see him coming off the bench to pinch hit, honestly. I mean, you've got Solano, you've got Diaz now, and on the other side you've got Peralta and you've got Wade. You've got whoever the catcher is, but you've got some options off the bench that you haven't had throughout the season. And remember, the lineup did expand the roster by 2 players for September. So you do have a couple of other options there. All right, let's get to our NFL picks, shall we? We did the NFC yesterday. Oh, man, I love it. There we go. Adam Klug playing the tunes.
What are we doing first?
We're going to do the AFC East and West today.
Correct.
So is there one you want? Anyone in
Let's
particular?
go AFC West.
Skraby says
wants to
AFC
go
West.
Yep, I do. All right, I'll start.
You start. Who's going to win the
Start,
division?
Scrape, since you want to pick it, buddy.
Yeah.
kidding.
Well, no one was doing it, so
Well,
I'll just
jump
go.
in.
My
Touche.
first place team is the Chiefs. I mean, you have to have the Chiefs at the top until they prove that they are no longer at the top. So.
I think you got to keep the Chiefs there until anyone else proves they can win a game.
That's true, too.
I mean,
That's
it's
true,
not
too.
just that the Chiefs, that the rest of the division is still trying to figure it out. Tony, I'm assuming you're there.
Yes, sir.
The
the
Chiefs.
Chefs, okay.
All right, I think the race for last place in the AFC West could be interesting. The Chargers finished 3 games below everybody last year. They collapsed completely, but they have the magic of Jim Harbaugh. Will that be enough to gain any ground? I will start, and I will pick the Broncos last.
I knew it.
Just because Sean Payton drives me absolutely crazy.
I knew it.
That's how I pick last place. I don't really look at the teams. I just look at who drives me the most crazy. Tony?
Yeah, I'm definitely picking the almighty Broncos. They're going
Really?
last place.
Dead last. Skraby, you got something different?
You said
Well,
you said that like you were surprised.
I was kind of surprised because I am going with the Chargers.
You
the
are, huh?
Chargers are going to be awful. I'm sorry to anyone here who's a Charger fan. But they have no wide receivers. They have no running backs. Justin Herbert has a whole thing going on with his foot. It's not a good start to the year.
They have Harbaugh. Harbaugh's
I was
magical.
about to say, you know what? You got such a short memory, Scraby. I mean, this was a guy who walked into a terrible 49er organization.
He had better
and,
players, though.
And he literally changed it around.
He had Frank Gore, Michael Crabtree, he had Patrick Willis, who's a Hall of Famer now, Vernon Davis, Alex Smith.
He had a good linebackers. Let's not get carried away with the rest of these guys you're naming, by the way. Except Frank Gore. I gave you Frank Gore.
Yeah, he played for like 25 years.
He
Nice.
played forever. You're right.
Let's go with MVP in the AFC West. This seems like a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, Mahomes.
Mahomes,
Yeah. Mahone boy.
Mahomie. All right, breakout player this year. Skraby, who do you got in the AFC West?
I'm going to go with, even though he kind of broke out last year, I really think Rashee Rice is in for a good year.
Rashee Rice. He certainly deserves
Is that how
it.
you say his name? I have no
I
idea.
don't know. I think it's Rashee Rice, but
I mean, Chris just keeps saying Rashee Rice.
he,
And I'm like, I don't know if that's it.
he certainly deserves it after his fine behavior during the offseason. So,
okay.
gee, I hope he
Touche.
has a lot of success. I'm going to go with Zamir White of the Raiders, mostly because I ended up drafting him last night. He was the only running back that I liked at that particular spot. I will say this. I don't know who he's in competition with there. I'm sure they have a third down
Is
guy.
that Alexander Madison there?
Maybe. I'm not positive who the backup is. But anyway, it's Zamir White. I'm going to go take a flyer on him. Tony?
Quentin Johnston,
Oh.
the wide receiver for the Chargers.
That's a good one.
I think he's going to have a breakout season. I don't think the Herbert foot injury is anything to worry about. I think this is a typical NFL preseason injury, all of a sudden, like, he gets you thinking, oh, man, he's going to be laboring the whole year, and he throws for like 325 his first game of the season.
I know that he dropped really far in most of my fantasy drafts.
Yeah.
So.
Justin Herbert, he did in a
He's
lot
dropping
of
in
people's.
everybody's fantasy drafts.
Yeah,
I
that's
wonder, does
strange.
Greg Roman have anything to do with that? I mean, that's a remember who Greg Roman is. He was the offensive coordinator for the Niners, and he was the offensive coordinator for the Ravens. They run the football a ton, so maybe that has something to do with him falling a little bit.
And Harbaugh also runs the football.
Yeah.
The disappointment in the league, I'm sorry for Bo Nix fans who are expecting brilliance in
Poor
Denver.
Bo Nix.
But I'm throwing him under the bus here. Tony?
Let's just throw the whole Denver Bronco organization under the bus. As
Broncos org.
org.
You know they are the richest organization in football.
Really?
Oh, yeah, they're owned by the Walmart people. They're worth more money than anyone.
Even more than Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones. Yeah. Who do you got, Skrabe?
I'm really out on the Chargers. I'm going Jim Harbaugh. I think he has
Jim
a
Harbaugh
really
disappointment.
I don't know that he.
Turncoat.
I don't know that Jim Harbaugh.
You are a turncoat.
Turncoat.
Well, I can't stand the Chargers, so that's why
This
I
was
want
a guy
Jim
who
Harbaugh
brought
to only be
prominence
good.
back to your organization, and you just
I know.
kicking dirt on him right now.
Kicking dirt. Okay, we only have a couple minutes for the AFC East, which is fine because you guys can't make too much fun of the Dolphins while we're here. But I'll have to take the Dolphins. They haven't won it since 2008. I'm hoping every blind squirrel finds an acorn. Skraby, who do you like here?
It's got to be the Bills.
The Bills again.
If the Bills don't win the division, Sean McDermott's gone.
Okay.
They need to rethink Josh Allen.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Tony, who do you like? Jets? Could go
I'm
different
taking
in
the
all
J-E-T-S.
There you go.
Really?
Jets.
This
Jets,
is a test
Jets.
of the emergency alert system. This is only a test. This is a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
This is the required monthly test of the San Diego County Emergency Alert System. Repeating, this is only a test. This test is coming to you from the San Diego County Emergency Operations Center. If this had been an actual emergency, official messages would have followed the alert tone. This concludes the required monthly test.
All right, last place. I think we're all going to go with the Patriots in the AFC East.
Yes.
That's a
Yes.
gimme, Tony.
Yes.
Yeah. MVP of the division, Skraby.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. I'm going to go Josh Allen because I don't want to jinx Tua. Skraby.
You don't need to.
Tony.
I'm going to say A-Rod.
Aaron Rodgers. I love it. Aaron Rodgers is, how old is he now?
41, I think.
41. Well, he's still got it probably. Breakout player this year, Tony. Who do you got in the AFC East?
Come back to me. You know what? How about Keon Coleman?
Oh, yeah, okay.
The wide
Keon
receiver.
Coleman,
Yeah.
young receiver for the Bills. Josh Allen could turn him into something. I say Jalen Waddle.
Your definition
breakout?
of breakout is so much
He
different
had
than
like
mine.
100 catches 2 years ago.
He did.
All right, breaking out this year. How about God? I don't have one.
Drake
then.
May?
Okay, go with Waddle. That's fine.
All right, fine.
Going with Waddle,
In the
sorry.
interest of time.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Bills wide receiver Khalil Shakir.
Khalil Shakir, who was
Yes.
way down on the draft list last night. He was one of the people you beat me to, I believe, last night. And then disappointment, I'll start Aaron Rodgers. I'm
Wow.
rooting against Aaron Rodgers.
A-Rod.
I
Me
have
too.
to root against
Me
him.
too. That was mine.
I have to root against him. Tony.
I hate to say this, but I think it's going to be Josh Allen.
Oh, Josh Allen.
Life,
due for a
life
disappointment.
without a number one receiver will be tough.
Yeah, well, the number 1, number 2, and number 3. I mean, they took everybody away
That's
from
right.
Josh
They don't
Allen.
have anybody left. You're right.
Did you see the whole thing Stephon Diggs put out in GQ today about how he hated his time in Buffalo.
You know,
It's
Mike,
He
why do you
hates
keep
he
doing
hates
that?
every place he gets rated.
He does.
He just left.
He does.
I mean,
wait till he gets a load of the weather in Houston. He'll be complaining about that.
At least they're indoors for that.
Sooner rather than later. All right, Tony Skraby, there's our NFL picks for the AFC East and West. We'll have the other AFC divisions tomorrow, and we'll have the Daily Gambit when we come back after we give away prizes here at Buffalo Wild Wings.
San Diego, you looking for local sports talk? From high school to the Padres and everywhere in between, no one knows the San Diego sports scene more than us on Annie and Elston. Annie and Elston bringing you local sports talk daily from 10 to 2 on 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000466.
Hey, it's Ben and Woods. By now, you should know that 7 Mile Casino is San Diego's closest, friendliest, and all-around best place for California-style blackjack, Texas Hold'em poker, and all your favorite card games. But did you know it's also a great place to watch sports?
There are TVs everywhere you look, and the phenomenal wood-fired pizzas, pastas, and great salads at Sammy's Bar and Restaurant.
Don't forget about the 24/7 players menu and a next-level brunch on Saturdays and Sundays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
And did we mention how close it is? 7 Mile Casino, just minutes from downtown.
AMCO presents Bet You Didn't Know.
Bet you didn't know that there are lots of things that can make your engine light come on, besides your engine. Also, bet you didn't know that AMCO's technicians are specially trained to diagnose what's causing your engine light to come on and fix it, no matter what it is. Keep your eyes on the road and your ears open for another episode of AMCO's Bet You Didn't Know.
AA, MCO. Check engine light on? We'll check it for free. Restrictions, limitations, and exclusions may apply. See AMCO.com for complete details.
Right now at Wendy's, you can get a small Frosty for $1. And literally everyone is going. The car behind you, going to get a $1 Frosty. The car ahead of you, already had one, going for a second. The person who cut you off earlier, you guessed it, $1 Frosty. Maybe it's all a sign for you to go get one. Just don't cut anyone off. No one likes that person. The iconic Frosty for $1, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Not valid in a combo. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, California, and via third-party delivery.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the...
Test starts right now on 97.3 The Fan.
Welcome into hour number 2 here on Gwynn and Chris. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, Matt Skraby. The boys, I mean Matt Skraby and Chris Ello, are at Buffalo Wild Wings out in Mira Mesa. Come on down and check out the new digs. It looks pretty slick. Pretty good setup.
Not only that, we've already given away some winners, Tony. I want to congratulate Daniel out there. He won a pair of tickets to the Padres-Astros game.
That's right.
Daniel scored those, and we had Mervin and Leland and Adam. All three won Buffalo Wild Wings for a year.
A year.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, it's already happening. Everybody who didn't win is coming after Skraby because Skraby picked the names out of the
yes, I did.
the hopper. But we're going to do it again at 4 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So if you missed out this time, make sure you get to Buffalo Wild Wings between now and then.
And you have to be here for it.
That's right.
So.
Yes, you need to be here to win. So,
all right.
Gentlemen, are we doing daily game? What are we doing?
We're gonna put the daily game into the next segment, but let's talk about our fantasy draft for a second.
Skraby
No, hold
wants
on.
to
Before
talk
we go
about
back,
that.
before we go to the fantasy draft, see, I know the champ wants to talk about fantasy football, but I want to stick to the Padres for a second.
Okay, yeah, of course.
Just having this conversation with my partner Jesse Eggers. If you guys had to guess, how many RBIs has the catching duo combined for this year?
Higashioka and Campusano, I'd say 65.
65. What do you say, Matthew?
Because I know they have about
58.
They have about 25 home runs.
Yeah. So, and I say this because oftentimes, we have our show and people want to pick on Campy and say, when are we getting to see Elias Diaz come in and get an opportunity? Well, combined, those guys have combined for 83 RBIs as a duo. You put them together as one person, I think any team would take 83 RBIs from whoever, if it was one catcher or two for that matter. But that's how productive that spot has been all year. And early on, it was Campy who was getting the bulk of the playing time. He got hurt. He went into a slump. It flipped, and now Kyle's the one who's getting the bulk of the playing time. But from a production standpoint, Campy has 8 homers, 40 RBIs, despite all of the riffraff that's going on around him. Kyle's got, I think 16 and 43 RBIs in the time that he's had. So, that kind of combo together has really been about they've equally given you about the same production. One has a few more homers, but RBIs-wise, Campy, he right there with Kyle.
Well, it goes along with the whole reason why the Padres are leading Major League Baseball in hitting, Tony. It's because they get it from the bottom of their order as well.
Yeah.
For a lot of the season, that's included Jackson Merrill. But even when he moved up and Peralta started hitting 7th, Peralta had a really good month of August.
Yeah.
And, we've had Hasang down there. We've had some other guys. But the Padres probably get more from their bottom 3 in the order than any team in baseball, I got to believe.
I would guess so, for sure. And the cold part about it, as good as Peralta has been, guess what he's about to do? He's about to be watching some baseball just like Donovan Solano had to do after he held it down for a long period. And this is what depth really looks like. Like when you take a guy out of the lineup, you're like, dang, we got to take that guy out of the lineup? Oh, well, we're putting this guy in the lineup. And so, I mean, these are tremendous. I can't think of any times as I've been working here full-time or even when I was working here part-time that the Padres have had this kind of depth in their lineup where they could where somebody can miss as much time as Toddy missed or as Bogey missed and really not miss a beat at all.
Yeah, good problems to have if you're Mike Schilt. And, there's a really good article again in the paper today about how well this team gets along and how the job that Schilt has done kind of fostering, the family atmosphere. I think everybody says they want to do that as a manager. Not everybody's able to accomplish that. Whether it's the players themselves or Mike Schilt probably gets some credit, but It is one of those seasons where everyone seems to be getting along great. You travel with them, Tony. It doesn't seem like there's really been a lot of hiccups anywhere along the way.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think, it takes buy-in. You got to have buy-in from the dudes who are playing, and he got that. And I think that was aided in the fact that he was able to kind of build these relationships over the last 2 years before he took over as manager. He didn't have kind of the disadvantage of walking into a new place, not knowing anybody, having to spend time getting to know guys before you could learn how to communicate with them. He kind of already had a pretty good idea from the moment he got the job. And I think that has paid. That's probably, in my honest opinion, that's probably been the best move that AJ has made out of all these moves, because this was the first domino to fall. Remember, we waited. We were expecting the kind of the whole drama of, was Bob coming back? Was he not coming back? He didn't come back. And then it was like quiet for a long time after he decided he wasn't coming back. And then Mike got the job. And from that point on, it seemed like everything has turned into gold for the Padres to this point. So they'll got to keep it moving. We've talked about that. All right, now we can go to your fantasy football there, Skrabe.
Oh, yeah, I was the Padres always first before fantasy football, because no one wants to
Yeah,
hear
there was a
about me being
time
the
where
champion,
you'd have tried to
so.
cuss me out if I wanted to talk about something else other than Padres this early in the show. I like that you kind of loosened up your reins a little bit.
I've had to. My reins. I've had to. I mean, I've grown a lot. You guys have. I was talking to my therapist about
You're
this.
kind of a mini Dave Marcus. You lord over Chris and I often, so I get it.
I don't lord. I mean, Dave is the one who lords, but
Well,
I
the
always
only,
feel
the
bad
only
when
difference between you and Dave is that you don't sit high above
That's what I'm
over
saying.
our shoulder.
That's what I'm saying.
The
That's
way
the only
Dave
difference.
does.
That's
That's
the
the
only
only difference. You behave the same.
I do not behave the same. Oh, should I talk about all the people that were like, why doesn't Chris follow the rules when he's in studio? Why is he eating when you said not to? I don't know, everybody.
That might have been the funniest part of the show yesterday is Adam walking in and him just going to work on whatever he was eating on. Didn't even stop.
And he raises up his hands like, here's how greasy my hands are. All right.
Can you just do one more imitation of my voice for everybody?
Oh, hey, everybody, we're going to eat some wings.
You are the worst impersonator on the planet, I promise you.
Can you do a Skraby voice, Chris?
No, I don't try to, because I can't do it, and I don't want to.
Okay.
I've never really spent any time trying to work on it.
Really? You don't spend all your time working on my voice? Okay. No. All right. Fantasy football draft was pretty fun last night, I got to say. Other than your nephew or godson, I always forget which he is, but your godson talking trash in the chat. It was fun.
First of all,
it was really fun.
that is literally why ESPN made the whole area to talk trash. Yeah, that's why they made it. It's so that you can talk trash while you're drafting.
That's what it's there for. Yeah, I would think. I didn't start off too well. I had my heart set on Amon-Ra St. Brown, and he was originally about the 8th or 9th listed guy. But by the time the draft started, he had moved up to number 3 or 4. I don't know what he's done, but everyone loves this guy, so I had no chance to get him at number 7.
Who got him? I don't remember.
I don't remember. Somebody got him really early, and so I was left with a choice of Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase. And Skraby was behind me, so I left Jamar Chase for him. I went with Jefferson and your guy Kevin O'Connell, but that may be a decision that I'm, upset about all season long, because I know I'm going to be comparing those two guys all year now, knowing that I could have had either or.
Yeah,
and I went with Jefferson. So
no disrespect to Sam Darnold, but one's got Sam Darnold thrown to him, the other's got Joe Burrow thrown to him. That's a tough.
But one has Kevin O'Connell as coach, right?
That's
Skrabe?
true. I was listening to my fantasy football podcast this morning, and they were saying if there was any coach that can scheme for having a iffy quarterback, it's Kevin O'Connell.
Well, I hope they're right, and I just hope that the Vikings are losing every game in the fourth quarter, and they just have to throw to Jefferson endlessly to try to catch up.
Yes.
So that was my
nice.
thinking. Who did you get in the first round, Tony? You were early. I think you got Breece Hall, did you not?
I took Breece Hall.
You're going to love him. You're going to love him.
I had the chance to take Bijan there, but I didn't. I just there's just too much hype around him. I feel like whenever there's hype around a dude like this, it just doesn't turn out well. I know your boy is flexing in the bottom of the screen right now because he's an Atlanta Falcon. I'm glad he didn't hear my NFC picks yesterday. He would have been quite disappointed.
He was monitoring.
I think the Falcons are going to be good this year. I do.
We'll see. We'll see, but that'll be your guy all year that you compare to probably, Tony, is if Bijan Robinson does better than Breece Hall, you'll be sour.
I would be quite salty about that one for sure.
I just want to know, did Skraby, because I said you stole my guy 2 or 3 times. It was more near the second half of the draft.
Which guys? Khalil Shakir was one.
Khalil Shakir was one. I think. Did you get Ladd McConkey? Maybe
I'm
Greg
not sure.
did right after you.
Yes,
but
yes.
He was another guy I wanted, and maybe one more. But did you have anybody steal anyone you wanted? Because you've been just on a lucky fantasy roll here for 2 years.
Lucky fantasy roll.
And I think it all carries over part of the draft, where everybody you wanted, you probably got.
Yeah, I wanted a quarterback earlier. I got Kyler Murray. I'm not really feeling good about it until I see him play this year. The Cardinals, I have no idea if they're going to be good or not. But I can't remember who stole the person 3 picks in front of me, or 4 picks in front of me, and it sent me into a tizzy.
Somebody stole a couple of my picks. I wanted Derrick Henry coming back. That was the one that I really wanted. Somebody snatched him. And then I wanted Lamar again, and I couldn't.
Oh, yes.
I wanted to get to Lamar, and then I had to pivot to CJ really quickly after, because those were the 2 quarterbacks I had targeted for the drafts this year.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson, he was coming up, and I was like, I'm going to take him again. Run it back with Lamar, and then our guy from KSON, John, he
snuck in there.
Yeah.
I just want you guys to know that everybody out there, I want everybody to know I was the nerd in the 11th round that was first to draft a defense. That's right. I finally broke down. I don't know why the Cleveland Browns are supposedly this great defense, but they were rated so high. I just took them, but I couldn't wait any longer to take a defense. I'm like, somebody's got to do it.
I definitely liked my 11th round pick. That went to Caleb Williams, and that could be a key.
We commented on that one.
That could be a keeper pick coming up next year, depending on how my man Garrett Wilson does. It's my last year keeping next year will be my last year keeping Garrett Wilson.
Well, Caleb Williams is either going to just be on point, or I don't see a middle ground for that. So we'll see where it goes with that. But yeah, Tony, you did a great job as a commissioner once again.
Yes, good job.
And now we can all sit back and have a lot of fun. I tried to make a couple of trades already today.
Yeah, you did.
I was rebuffed by Sam Levitt on one trade, which I think would have been fair to my advantage, so I can understand why he turned that down. But I have also offered another one, and if there's something I don't like, somebody tell Ron Davis I made this offer 5 hours ago and I haven't heard back.
Okay, they need at least 24 hours.
I can't stand when people don't get back to you on a draft offer or a trade offer.
You know what? It's kind of like when you send a text to someone you went on a date with. If you get something back within 24 hours, maybe there's something there. If you don't get anything back, there's nothing there. So.
Yeah, just have a little respect for your opponents, and I want to hear
a little respect.
Yes, I want to. Just say no. If you don't want the trade, say thanks, but no thanks. I'm
Chris,
okay with that.
Are you trying to offload your defense? Is that why?
I'm trying to trade the Browns for Lamar Jackson. I don't understand why I haven't gotten him.
I gotta say I respect Chris's move on this, because this is more of a personal pleasure move for Chris. He wants a Dolphin so that he can actually enjoy watching his fantasy. And he's willing to give a little bit on this. I think it's a pretty good deal personally, but
Do you know Sam Levitt thinks it's a conspiracy against him from the Padres league that we drafted for, and then this Odyssey league, because he drafted last in both leagues. So he was back to back. He texted me during the draft last night, and he goes, "Man, being last is so boring because you just sit there for like 20-something picks when it comes back around to you."
I have one last thing to add on the draft, you guys, and this has to do with my lovely, the great Lori Ello out there.
Oh, wait, by the way, did you find out if Lori was actually listening to the show?
Yes, on her draft, I don't think she was, because she was pretty good with me. She was okay last night when she finished her first draft. But when she finished our draft last night, she took her tablet and she practically fired it across the room. She was so disappointed that she picked Pat Freiermuth as a backup tight end.
Why?
I don't know why.
That's not a bad pick.
She thought it made her look dumb in the eyes of all of you guys.
Well, at least she said it. She
did, and she was like so disappointed. So I spent the next 5 minutes trying to, get her, fired back up. I said, "Hey, you got this player, you got that player, you did good." And then I want to thank the fantasy gods, because 5 minutes after that, they sent out the draft rankings, and she got an A. And she all of a sudden thought, again, now she was the best drafter in the world. And so I had a wonderful night thanks to that.
Did you tell her that when you get an A in your post-draft recap, that means your team's going to be terrible? If you get an F, it's going to be great.
I don't know what it means.
Why would he tell her that?
I'm not going to tell her that, but I know that when she got an A last night, you guys, she was so happy. And, of course, happy wife, happy life.
Yes,
so I want to thank. I thought maybe Tony rigged that so that her draft would get an A. I don't know how that you would do that, but
I took care of you, buddy. I took care
Thanks,
of you.
pal. I was so happy when she got an A. That made my night, because thankfully she would leave me alone after her complaining.
I'm getting the break fingers from Mr. Matt Skraby. Let's get to break. I have to head out and get ready for this ball game. You guys, I should say Chris and Matt will take over from Buffalo Wild Wings out in Mira Mesa. More Gwynn and Chris on the other side.
Petco Park. Matt Skraby alongside. We're at the Buffalo Wild Wings location in Mira Mesa, brand new location, Skraby. They're only 7 days old here.
Really?
And I'll tell you one thing, this place is already, doing fantastic things. They've got at least, and I'm not overstating this, you can back me up, at least 35 television screens I can see from where I'm sitting right here.
There's 8 there. There's 4 more. There's a ton of screens.
Yeah, so you come out here, like, let's say on a Saturday for college football, right? You can watch every game in the country going on at one time. Buffalo Wild Wings has been doing it for a long time. I was talking to the manager. How many years do you think Buffalo Wild Wings has been open for business in terms of a company nationwide?
I could be really wrong about this, but I believe it was like the 70s.
The 70s. That's going to be right. It's 43 years old.
43, okay.
Buffalo Wild Wings. So they started in 1981. Do you know the first location of Buffalo Wild Wings? Trivia. I guessed Buffalo. Thought I would take a shot. It was not the correct answer. You'll never get it. There's no way anybody would ever get this unless you knew it beforehand.
Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay. The first Buffalo Wild Wings location was in Oxford, Ohio, at the University of Ohio. The Bobcats.
Yes.
There was 2 students at the University of Ohio. They opened the first Buffalo Wild Wings.
That's a crazy story.
43 years ago.
Wow, that is a crazy story.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. But they've come to Mira Mesa, and we got a great crowd out here today because, probably they want to see Skraby, and they want some of his fantasy luck to rub off on them before the season starts. But also because we're giving away 2 more pair of Padre tickets to see the Padres take on the Astros September 18th. And we're giving 6 more winners here for Buffalo Wild Wings for a year. We have a 7th one of those prizes that we're going to let everybody else in on out in our listening audience, but we'll tell you about that in a little bit. So we're excited to be here today, and I want to thank Kevin and everybody for having us up here. They brought us mild, which I need, Buffalo Wild Wings, the regular mild, because I can't go that hot.
Yeah.
We got mango habanero.
I'm going to eat one right now.
Enjoy. And then they brought us out some garlic parmesan, Buffalo Wild Wings. So we really appreciate it. We're having a great time. Come on by and join us and win some prizes. Skraby, are you ready for today's Daily Gambit?
Yes, I am, sir.
Because we have 1 minute left in this segment.
Okay, great.
Do you like money?
I think about money a lot.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo! If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwynn and Chris go through the top bets of the day in The Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Daily Gambit is our daily sports betting segment here on Gwynn and Chris. Please, everybody, gamble responsibly. We're just going to review the bets from yesterday. First bet, Dodgers minus 1.5 on the run line over the Angels. Now, this one went into extra innings. It was 2-2, I believe.
Yeah.
Chris chose the Halos. Tony and I chose the Dodgers, and it was the Dodgers.
6-2.
Yes.
They scored 4 runs in extra innings. So that was a bad beat for me.
That is a bad beat.
Yeah.
Arizona at San Francisco, over under a total number of runs, 8. You went under. Tony and I went over. It was over. Giants won 8-7, so it was 15.
No, Diamondbacks won 8-7.
Right.
Unfortunately,
but as long as
the
winner doesn't matter. So
still went over.
Paul Skeens over under 6.5 strikeouts. You and Tony went under. I went over. He went under. He had 6.
6 strikeouts, 5 innings yesterday, but they were shutout innings at Wrigley Field.
Did you see we talked about it kind of on the show, but the umpire who got mad at him,
what was that all about?
It was a huge overreaction by the umpire.
No kidding. And then the umpire yelled into the dugout and said, "Hey, you go talk to him, to the manager of the Pirates. So you go talk to him, and the manager looked at the umpire and said, "No, I'm going to talk to you."
Yeah, did Derek Shelton just point and say, "Why didn't you call that a strike?"
No, he was upset that the umpire was kind of baiting Paul Skeens.
He was.
And
He
Paul
totally
Skeens
was.
didn't do anything wrong. I mean, and you know if he did something wrong, you and I would be all over it.
We would.
But I didn't get that.
I think it was Doug Eddings who was the umpire. And he's
Bad
the same
umpiring
guy.
by Doug Eddings.
He's
right
the same
there.
guy when Jace Tingler was in Miami, and he said, "That's about enough out of you, Trace." Didn't even get his name right. So Doug Eddings.
Doug Eddings, loser umpire. Sorry.
Angel Reese over under 13.5 rebounds last night. Chris went over. Tony and I went under. And I can't predict her because she went over with 16 rebounds.
16 for Angel, yeah.
Asia
Believe it.
Wilson, over under 27.5 points in last night's game. All of us went over. All of us were correct. She scored 30 points.
She's been on a roll.
And then Dimitrov, minus 2.5 game favorite over, is it Francis Tiafoe?
Francis Tiafoe, yeah, the American.
We all chose USA. Tiafoe won, and he won by 8 games.
Tiafoe is going to play our guy Taylor Fritz in the semifinals, an All-American semifinal at the U.S. Open. San Diego's Taylor Fritz against Tiafoe, and that's going to be an exciting match on Friday. So,
yes.
Congrats to Taylor Fritz. Even though we haven't been able to get him on our show, he does reach his first ever Grand Slam semifinal. That's impressive.
Do you think that's why he's not coming on the show?
Well, we've been trying to get him a long time
Since
before
Wimbledon.
Yeah, before he got to this stage. But that's not bad for a kid from Torrey Pines, man. All the way to the U.S. Open semifinal. So good luck to Taylor
Torrey
Fritz.
Pines guys.
Fritz and Tiafoe, an All-American semifinal. That'll be fun. All right, we'll come back. We got more Gwynn and Chris coming up. Kurt Kenny's going to join us with an Aztec football report. That's next on Gwynn and Chris. All right, welcome back to Gwynn and Chris. We are having a good old time today out here at the Buffalo Wild Wings in Mira Mesa. We got some more listeners and fans out here signing up to potentially win a pair of Padre tickets. Padres Astros game. That's going to be a good one, Skrabe, September 18th. Not only the Astros come to town before the season is over, but do the White Sox come here? The White Sox come here too.
Final regular season series. I have a question in the Big Five.
Oh, you do?
That's so random that you brought that up because I was looking ahead last night and I have a question.
The final home series this year against the White Sox. Man, what a team they have.
I mean, by that time, are the White Sox even going to be playing or are they just going to forfeit their games?
They're 31 and 109.
I went off on Jerry Reinsdorf last night.
They are currently 78 games under 500. And when they get here for that series, they're going to be closing in on the all-time record of 120 losses by the New York Mets of 1962.
All right, let's save this because you're barking right up my question.
Is that what the question's going to be? All right, we'll save it for the Big Five. That's an hour from now. But coming up in this segment, Kirk Kenny is going to join us from the San Diego Union Tribune, talk about my San Diego State Aztecs, who were victorious in the opener over Texas A&M Commerce. Sounds better. Texas A&M
Commerce.
45-14 was the score. We'll get the fallout from Kirk. Is he with us? Yeah.
Adam
Klug. Do we have Kirk Kenny online? Because we're here at Buffalo Wild Wings. Oh, we got to do traffic first, says Adam Klug. He is the boss, and he is also correct on this one.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by MTS, reminding you that trolleys run every 15 minutes or better. Got a few problems here, guys. One of them is this crash on southbound 163, just past the 805. Looks like got a couple vehicles involved in this one. One is overturned, not showing if lanes are blocked. Also going to find on the northbound 805 right around Balboa, collision involving a couple vehicles. It's over to the right shoulder. Traveling on the northbound 5 coastline on or near the Delmar Heights Road on-ramp, there is a collision. And a stalled vehicle partially blocking the Woodland Parkway off-ramp of westbound 78. Don't let traffic drag your day down, whether headed to the office or game day. Go the easy way with MTS. Trolleys run every 15 minutes or better throughout the day. Learn more and plan your trolley trip at sdmts.com. That's sdmts.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And indeed, Kirk Kenny is about set to join us. Want to remind everybody, if you take a day off of Buffalo Wild Wings, get some Mediterranean food, try Spiro's for authentic Mediterranean cuisine in Coronado or La Jolla. Dining takeout options. Visit our friends spiroscuisine.com. All right, Mr. Kirk Kenny joins us as he is covering an undefeated major college football program right now, the 1-0 San Diego State Aztecs. And Kirk, let's start with this because it's kind of the elephant in the room, if you will. Just out of curiosity, what was kind of the?
To me first, or just start right in?
It's a fair point.
Yes, it is a fair point.
You know, sometimes I don't. I just start right in, don't I?
Yeah, sometimes.
All right. I don't get a lunch invite. You guys are out at somewhere cool. I don't get a lunch invite.
Well, hold on.
Well, now, wait a minute. Skraby's going to stick up for me on this one.
Because you were a fan of another chicken restaurant.
You're the fan of a competitor, Kirk.
We can't be having you here. You're not going to even come here.
You're a fan of a competing place.
There's more than one meal a day. I can change my route.
Okay, right. Next time.
Perfect, Kirk. Well, you're certainly welcome to come by.
Yes, that's true.
We're still going to be here another hour and a half. All right, Kirk Kenny, thank you for being with us.
6:01.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Thank you so much. Okay, here we go.
All right.
Halftime, they're losing 6-3 to A&M Commerce. You're walking around the press box. There's a lot of Aztec, officials and people, who work there. And you're sitting there looking at each other in the media. What is going through the mind of everybody at halftime of that game on Saturday before it got good?
I think there were people kind of shaking their heads and uncomfortable expressions on their faces and somebody looking for a defibrillator, that kind of thing.
Looking for a defibrillator.
Trying to wake the team up.
Yeah. I hope there was no danger up there. I didn't want that to be the case. But the first half, I don't know, maybe we should have expected with a new coach and a freshman quarterback but it was very difficult to watch. The penalties were piling up. They couldn't get anything going, and it was kind of tough at halftime, Kirk. I mean, it really, what was Sean Lewis's thing?
One thing is first games are always a little bit unusual. There's a lot of new players, and then you had a true freshman quarterback who is just getting on the field and took a little bit of time to get his bearings. But then they kind of turned things around pretty quickly in the second half.
Talking to Kurt Kenny from the San Diego Union Tribune, and I want to ask about that quarterback because I thought Danny O'Neal was pretty impressive for his first ever college game as a true freshman. And Chris and I both talked about this yesterday. That throw that he had over the top, it was perfect. It was like something that we don't usually get to see out of a San Diego State quarterback. Do you think that he's just? Do you think it was just nerves in that first half, or do you think that he was kind of outmatched and then found his way?
I think it was more nerves than being outmatched. There were a few overthrows, and then he kind of dialed it in. I think he deserves definitely some credit for some poise and not letting it get to be too big for him of a moment. And then second half, he was 11 for 12. And after starting 1 for 7, he was, 21 for 26.
Yeah, it was a pretty impressive performance. And you're right, Kirk. Because the fans were, I gotta be honest with you, man. Some of the fans, I was out in the stands. They were tough. I mean, they expected the Aztecs to score 40 points in the first quarter.
Half. It's the first half of the season, people.
Fan is short for fanatic, Skraby. Don't ever forget that. But
once again, people in our society, they want to judge something after one play or one down or one quarter, and they let something unfold, right?
Yeah, well, that's a good thing it had a chance to unfold on Saturday. Take us through Sean Lewis and his, how much did he share about his mindset at halftime and what he told the team, at the half in terms of, trying to get it squared away in the second half. I'm curious what his, thought process was, Kirk.
I think he told them to play better.
Okay. Simply, huh?
We tried to get some of that out of him. Do you scream at guys? Do you just, remain calm all as well? What do you give them? And especially in an opening game, he wasn't going to go crazy. And I think it's just like they focused on what they were doing wrong. I mean, another thing we haven't brought up yet is they made, I believe, 9 penalties in the first half. They had 16 for the game, which I looked up is more than they've made in this century in a game. And that definitely holds you back. So they just started correcting some of their mistakes, and then they took off.
Kirk, we were talking. We talked to Dale Sean Staley in studio a few weeks before the season started. He was all over the place, but I don't know how much I could take from their performance on Saturday defensively because they were playing Texas A&M Commerce. Like, do we think that this performance was just because they were playing an inferior team, or do we think that this defense is going to be an Aztec defense that we're used to?
I think the defense will definitely stand up. Obviously, it's a very big step up in competition. A game like that it's like get out there, get the butterflies out of the way, play some game speed, and then see what you got the next week. The biggest challenge now against Oregon State, you're playing a former Power 5 school, which still trying to find its way. But they ran the ball very well last week in their opener against Idaho State. They rushed 58 times for 362 yards. So the biggest challenge for the Aztecs is going to be stopping the run so they can get the ball back for their offense.
Yeah, you mentioned Dale Sean Staley had a beautiful interception that would have killed a drive, and it got called back because of a roughing the passer. And we talked about the penalty. You talked about the penalties, Kirk. We mentioned it obviously all week. I don't know that some of those penalties really were penalties. I don't want to be too critical of a referee crew because I don't really do football, but it seemed like they were looking and calling every single possible thing out there. I didn't know that any of the roughing the passers really should have even been called. So I'm going to give the Aztecs a little break on the 16 penalties. I think some of them were, maybe not really there. But I guess
I think one thing you find is that at the start of a season, and you would know this, Chris, the officials are emphasizing things that they've probably been talking about for a month or so leading into a season, and I think things start to loosen up a little bit as the season goes on.
I think that's a really good point, Kirk. Kirk Kenny is with us. The Aztecs did win. All right, let's talk about the second half, though, and what they did well. First of all was, opening things up for this running back, Cooper. Over 200 yards. I think most of it was in the second half. They hit some big plays, and, they blocked, and, they obviously wore down, a Division II school. But talk about some of the things that Sean Lewis was happy with once they got it together.
One thing that I thought was a pretty neat note is this year they're letting the teams use tablets on the sidelines, and they said they made a mistake in the first play of the game that they took the wide receivers group and pointed it out on one of the tablets, and later in the game they made the play right, and that's what sprung Cooper for a 47-yard touchdown run that kind of got things going. So that was one thing. I mean, the other thing is just they made fewer penalties. They just finished plays that they weren't doing in the first half, and it kind of started to snowball.
I need to turn on my mic, Chris. We're talking to Kirk Kenny here, San Diego Union Tribune, about the Aztecs. And you wrote earlier this week, and I had to click on it because it was a good title. It says, Aztec Notes. Seeing over the O-line, a tall order for new SDSU quarterback Danny O'Neill. I didn't realize this, but he has two linemen, a left tackle that's 6'8", and a left guard that's 6'9". I mean, is this actually an issue for him, or is this just a kind of a fun thing, a fun note for all of us?
I think it was more of a fun note and a, interesting note. How often are we somewhere and all of a sudden you find out that you're at a theater or a game and of course the tallest guy in the place is right in front of you and you're having to look around him from the left or the right. But, I think a kid like Danny O'Neill, they're accustomed to having some players in front of them that are taller, so you find your ways to look around or find a lane or kind of take a couple steps one way or another to find your receivers, and obviously he did fine.
Yeah, 11 out of 12 in the second half. I mean, that's picking it up for sure. What turned out to be a really good performance by the freshman quarterback. Kirk, a lot of these guys transferred to San Diego State, a lot of young players, including the quarterback. If you talk to any of the players, and I know you don't always have access to a lot of them, but what did they think of the atmosphere, their first game at Snapdragon Stadium? The one thing I wanted to point out, I really was impressed. The student section was pretty filled up, and that's at least one step in the right direction. I know the overall attendance is not what they want at San Diego State, but it's a start, I guess, for Sean Lewis's program.
The students definitely came out in force. Giving out Hawaiian shirts may have helped that, but I mean they all went and got their tickets early in the week, and they showed out very well. Players, I think Danny O'Neill said that it was the largest crowd he'd ever played in front of, and I would think so unless he went to a Texas high school, but he's from Indiana. Some of the others I didn't hear too much comment from, but they, there's enough when they're coming out of the tunnel and seeing a full, or not full, but thousands and thousands of people there, obviously gets their juices flowing. As far as ticket sales, I've written this for a while. I think the prices are too high, and at some point they're going to have to bring them back if they want to fill the place.
Oregon State is coming in Saturday night to take on the Aztecs. I think is it 7 or 7:30, Kirk?
7:30. I wish it was
7:30. Yeah, Kirk's got a tight deadline. You talked about Oregon State and how they ran it up last week and 350-plus yards on the ground. I mean, last week was a nice little debut and warm-up for the Aztecs. This is a test. I don't know that, the great Aztec fans out there are honestly expecting to beat Oregon State. What do you think? I mean, could it be this quick of a thing if the Aztecs were to beat Oregon State that they could kind of win a lot of people back this weekend, Kirk?
Well, I definitely think a win would be impressive. They've brought so many new players in, the coaching change and all that, and a victory would, be the first big stamp, big win for the Sean Lewis era. But we'll just have to see. They go on the road for the 2 games after that, and then coming back, we'll see where they stand after 4 games into the season, and what that can do for attendance and the atmosphere and the energy at Snapdragon Stadium.
All right. Well, Kirk, we always appreciate it. I didn't give you a proper introduction. I apologize. I'm going to give you a proper send-off. There he goes, the award-winning, fantastic sports journalist from the San Diego Union Tribune.
Very funny on my dad.
And a comedian on the side, Kirk Kenny, our guest today. Thank you, Kirk, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week.
All right, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Kirk Kenny right there from the San Diego Union Tribune. Aztecs over Texas A&M. Commerce.
Real quick before we head to break, we are going to do Chris versus the fans, so get in line, 833-288-0973. You're going to be playing for free wings for a year. We've gotten the okay to do that. So,
what?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But there's major news that has happened online in the last a couple hours, Chris, and I just really saw it for the first time. Apparently, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, there's been documents leaked saying that their whole relationship was a sham and that they have a breakup date coming up, so that it was all a PR move. So everybody's reporting on this right now. I don't know if it's real. I'm thinking it's not real, but it's everywhere on X right now. Everywhere. You can't miss it.
The Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, the whole thing was just a setup.
I called it from the beginning. If this is true, which I don't think it is true, I called it from the beginning.
The thing with you, and I said this yesterday, you basically call everything a conspiracy. So every now and again, you're going to hit one.
Here it is from NFL Rumors. Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce has involved lawyers after a contract allegedly revealing the end date of his relationship with Taylor Swift surfaced online. The alleged document from the PR firm implies Kelce and Swift's relationship was fake. Fake, I tell you.
Wow.
Ridiculous.
I got to be honest, if this turns out to be true, I am going to struggle to get my way through the rest of the show.
That's a good call.
We'll keep an eye on that. Play some Chris versus the fans when Gwynn and Chris returns to Buffalo Wild Wings. We're giving away some more prizes. Wish you were here. hate to tell you, I believe a little bit more than whatever you're reading. They say that Travis Kelce's reps are shutting down all of this viral Taylor Swift breakup. They're even enlisting legal help to tackle this drama head on. An alleged, quote, comprehensive media plan from the NFL star reps made the rounds Tuesday night, seemingly suggesting that Travis and Taylor's love story was all fabricated for the press and that there had been a plan to break up on September 28th. But Travis Kelce and his people are calling this a complete, total fabricated lie and threatening legal action against anybody who announces it on the radio.
You know what's really funny is...
So there you go, Skrabe. We'll see.
For two people that probably have things said about them every single day, this seems to anger them a lot.
They are pretty angry that people
Yeah,
are trying to
thank
say
you.
that their whole relationship is fabricated.
Now, that's not very
But
nice.
apparently it's not fabricated,
But hey,
Skraby.
but
Come on.
hey, you don't need to come out so angry if there's no smoke. If there's smoke, there's fire.
I don't know. Apparently this thing's been, as you said, running crazy on the internet. So people are taking it to new levels. And I think a lot of people, a la you, are starting to believe it. And so Travis Kelce had to shut it down.
Can I not be a jokester anymore? Do I have to come on and disclaim every
Yes,
single
you
thing
do.
that I say?
Yes, because people listen on the radio, you know, and I know that they hear what they want to hear sometimes. So you got to be a little careful
All
out
right,
there.
everybody. It's a fake out.
It's a fake out.
But it
It's a
was out
fake out.
there. The news was out there.
The news was out there, but it was a fake out all the way.
Yeah.
All right, we are back on Gwynn and Chris. Hour number 3 here at Buffalo Wild Wings. Congratulations to all of our winners during that last segment. We had Padre tickets given away. There's no applause because people are mad they didn't win. That's all.
They're also eating.
But and everybody's been having it's a full house in
It
here.
is a
it
full
not?
house. I just tweeted a picture.
Yeah, it is a full house. So thanks to everybody who came down. We are still giving away one more pair of Padres Astros tickets and 3 more all-you-can-eat Buffalo Wild Wings for a year. And in order to, maybe get that, all you got to do is be here by 5 o'clock because we're going to give away the last batch at 5 o'clock. In the meantime, come on down, have a cold beverage, enjoy some Buffalo Wild Wings, watch some baseballs getting underway here, 4 o'clock hour, and, hang out with us because we're having a great time. We're at the corner of Mira Mesa Boulevard and Reagan Road in Mira Mesa. And like I said, we'll be here till about 5:30 this afternoon. Before we turn it over to Sammy Levitt's Padres pregame show. Now, Skrabe, you want to do something a little different for Chris vs. the Fans today? Is this what I'm hearing?
Yes. So if you are in the audience right now and you would like to play some Chris vs. the Fans live, please come line up right here, and you will be playing for free wings for a year.
You will be
if you
playing
win-
for free wings for a year. Now,
Yes.
even if you're not a trivia expert, you can win this game because the way it is set up, you have to answer trivia questions, but if I get the question wrong, you stay alive. So we've had many people win in the past, even without answering any questions.
That's right.
So if you want a chance to win Buffalo Wild Wings for a year, we're going to play some live Chris vs. the Fans today. Is it all going to be live, Skrabe?
If we run out of contestants here in person, we are going to go to the phones.
All right.
But I hope not because I didn't do many questions thinking we weren't doing this today. So we're going to be doing a lot of questions out of my book for today.
Okay, well, why don't you give people the rules that are here?
Oh, should we play the open?
Yes. Adam, thank you.
If you had one shot, one opportunity to take down the human almanac himself,
howdy do.
Now is your time.
Listen to me, this guy is dangerous.
Now is your opportunity to win a prize.
Well, I hope you know what you're in for.
Chris versus the Fans starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we have a few brave fans.
Wow.
Who want to come up and play. No, I'm just kidding. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming up and playing, guys. Hey, this is going to pay off for you if you win. You're going to wind up getting free Buffalo Wild Wings for a year. Skraby, you going to explain the rules to our contestants here at Buffalo Wild Wings?
Yes, you have to make it through 3 questions. Each question will get more difficult. If you get the question right, you move on. If you get it wrong and Chris gets it right, you're eliminated. But if Chris gets it wrong, then you move on to the next question or you win. if you are a first-time player, you left me hanging on that one.
You confused me.
Let me know before we get into it. You get that question for free. Chris versus the Fans is presented by SD Fat Loss. Lose 20 to 30 pounds in just 60 days. Visit SDFatLoss.com to schedule your free consultation.
All right, we have our first contestant right here at Buffalo Wild Wings. Your name, sir?
Sergio. Yes.
All right, have you ever played Chris versus the Fans before, like on the radio? Or
Virgin.
First time.
He's got a first-time player.
He's a first-time player. So all you're going to have to do is get 2 questions right, Sergio,
right.
and you might get Buffalo Wild Wings for a year.
Take it easy on me, guys. Let's do this.
All right, let's see what Skraby's got in store for you.
Here we go. Question number 1. Who led the NFL in passing yards last season?
The NFL in passing yards.
Yep.
Last season.
Yep.
It is the second question.
Oh, it's the second question.
Yeah, you already got the first one.
You're a new player, so you get
You're a
to
new player.
skip
You got
2.
the first one.
Oh.
So you're on to number 2. Take a stab at it.
I'm going to go with
3, 2, 1.
Mahomes.
Not a
Okay.
bad guess. I mean, you never can tell.
That is incorrect. Chris,
You got
you
buzzed on
know.
that. No, I don't.
Oh,
but I'm
really?
going to take a guess.
Okay.
Tua Tagovailoa?
I cannot stand this guy. That is correct.
Oh, sorry, Sergio.
That's all.
Sorry, Sergio. Tua Tagovailoa led the league in passing. He must have had a big lead heading into December. Because I don't remember him completing a pass in the month of December.
All
He
right.
must have been way out in front. So
Your name, sir?
Travis.
All right, Travis is next up.
We met Travis at Alesmith. Travis has been
Yeah,
a
Travis is
great
a good guy.
listener.
He's got his Padre 4th of July hat on.
Have you
Ready
played
to
this
go.
game before?
No, I haven't.
First time.
First time player.
All right, here we go.
Okay,
Shoot.
Travis, you go to question number 2
Yep.
also.
What was the first sports-themed movie to win the Oscar for Best Picture?
First ever?
Yep.
First ever.
Wow. Sports-themed movie.
Rookie of the year.
Rookie of the year.
That's one of my favorites.
That's
But
one
it
of
is
Skraby's
incorrect,
favorites.
unfortunately. Chris, do you
Got
know?
double buzzed on that one.
Henry Rowan?
Yeah, I'd have to go back, man. The 40s, there might have been a boxing movie in there somewhere that I didn't know about. I'm going to go Rocky. 1976.
That's correct. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, Travis.
All right.
Sorry.
Here we go.
I was worried there had
contestant.
been one prior to that.
All right.
All right. Sir, your name?
James.
James. Nice to meet you, James. Thanks for coming down and visiting us today at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Are you a first-time player?
I am.
First-time player! Thank you, Chris.
All right, James, you're on to question 2.
All right, we just talked about it, but who is the Aztecs starting? Oh, yeah, I should probably
This is
look for
question 2.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
Who is the Aztecs starting quarterback?
Oh, no.
Cooper.
You were listening.
He was
That is
listening, but
incorrect.
not closely enough.
Unfortunately, Chris knows this
Danny
one.
O'Neill is our guy.
Sorry about that.
Sorry about that, James.
Thank you for playing.
Thanks for playing.
Anybody else here want to step up and play?
I think Kevin wants to play.
Kevin,
do you
you
want to
wanna
play,
play?
Kevin? Come
All
on,
right.
man. Kevin. Let's hear it for Kevin out there.
He's
He
taking care
runs
of us
this
here at Buffalo Wild
Wings joint.
Yes.
He's doing a great job. Kevin, you obviously don't need to win Buffalo Wild Wings for a year, but I think it'd be fun to let you play.
Yeah,
I think you kind of
and
wanted
if
to play.
you do win, you could gift it to
Yeah,
anybody.
we'll let you donate it to whoever you wish.
You guys are
How's
so
that,
kind.
Kevin?
Yes,
So kind.
yes. Yeah, we're so kind. We're just giving away his prizes.
We just put you under pressure. If you win, you're going to have to pick somebody to give them to.
All right, I know
Lovely.
Kevin's a first-time
Player! Okay, goes right to number 2.
Which Miami Heat guard was named 2006 Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year?
That would be number 3, Dwayne Wade.
Dwayne Wade is correct.
Wow, he nailed that before.
That was, I mean, if you're going to be taking over Buffalo Wild Wings, you've got to know your
He
sports.
nailed that before I could even think of my answer.
That was pretty good.
Good job,
That
Kevin.
was pretty good. All right,
All right,
here's
one
the
more
third
for
and
the
final question.
championship here.
All right, this one's tough.
Okay.
What NFC quarterback attempted the most passes in the NFL last season? He was a starter all year long. He's in the NFC.
I just got to look at my NFC teams.
He's not on your list. Trust me.
Lawrence
No, I
got
know, but
hurt
I'm just
towards
looking
the end
at
of the
the
season.
looking at my teams.
Give me C.J. Stroud.
C.J.
Oh,
Stroud.
NFC South. NFC South.
Yeah,
NFC.
I'll give you
NFC
another
South.
one.
NFC South.
No,
it's
NFC.
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 quarterback. Could be
Yes.
any
Oh, wow.
NFC quarterback.
Oh, wow. You expanded my repertoire.
Yes. Making it difficult. Adam's getting impatient over there.
Let's see. All right. Give me... I'm going to be wrong. Give me Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott
that's a
for
good
the
guess.
title.
It's incorrect, but a good guess. Chris hates that. Chris, if Chris gets this right, you're eliminated. But if he gets this wrong, then you win. What, Chris?
Oh, he has the sheet.
No, I don't. These are the list of the NFC teams.
Got it.
So I'm just looking at the teams to see which quarterback I want to guess. Bryce Young.
Incorrect.
Ah, Kevin, you win.
Wow.
Let's hear it for Kevin.
Kevin. Nice job, Kevin. We're going to give you back your booklet of free wings so that you could donate.
You get your booklet back. You can donate to whoever you want to.
Appreciate everything you're
Thanks
doing for us
doing
here.
taking care of us today, Kevin, again, and having us up here. Kevin's a big fan of the show, so it was just great to be up here and got to meet you. And thanks for all the good stuff. And your staff has done a great job.
Awesome.
Kevin has checked on my drink like 5 times, which is awesome.
That's
so
the way
thank
it's
you.
to be done. That's the way
you.
it's to be done. Thanks, Kevin, for having us up. We're having a great day at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Oh, the answer.
Yeah, who was the who was it?
You'll never guess.
I
Sam Howell.
Wow. Sam Howell of
the now
Commanders.
Commanders last year.
Sam Howell.
He was the guy who attempted the most passes because the Commanders just threw it like 70 times a game.
I thought I had you there with Bryce Young. I thought maybe you were gonna
Did
come
Bryce
up.
Young even throw it 400 times?
I don't know. I just was taking a wild, long shot guess because I knew it was going to be somebody crazy.
Hey, thanks to everybody who played.
Thanks
the
for
game
coming up
here.
and playing. Sticking your neck out
We
on
got
the line.
James, Travis,
out there.
We got Sergio. Thank you very much.
That was kind of
And
everybody.
Kevin.
We'll return to a regular edition of Chris versus the Fans, of course, on the program tomorrow. But we've got our Big Five coming up in a little while. And the U.S. Open tennis.
Oh, yes.
Tonight, you've got a couple of good matches. You've got Yannick Sinner. And this guy he's become a very polarizing figure now, Skraby, because he survived.
Because he was found to take steroids and they don't care.
Twice. He tested positive twice for the exact same thing that shelved Fernando Tatis Jr. Same steroid. What was it?
Clostebol.
Clostebol. Yeah.
I shouldn't know what Clostebol is.
Yeah, you were
but I
pretty
do.
quick with that information there. But the thing was, this guy, he tested positive twice, and all he said, well, it was I didn't know I got it. It was my massage guy, my massage therapist. Well, he said what everybody says, but for some reason they believed him. And there's a lot of people in tennis that are not really thrilled that Yannick Sinner is, only a couple of matches away now from winning the U.S. Open.
And one of those is one of the most famous tennis players of all time. Roger Federer is kind of like, there's something weird going on here.
Yeah, Federer was Federer was the squeakiest clean athlete maybe in the history of the planet, and one of the greatest athletes, of course, in the history of the planet. So, yeah, Federer wants to see everything on the up and up. Nadal, for his part, did come out and support Sinner and said he understand how that could all happen. I think Nadal's being a little friendly
a little
here.
nice, yeah.
So Sinner plays tonight against Daniil Medvedev, which is a top 5 matchup.
Yep.
So that'll be a fun one later tonight. But the one I'm looking forward to now is the semifinal on Friday with San Diego's Taylor Fritz against the other American, Francis Tiafoe. That's going to be fun.
I like that name, Tiafoe.
And, one of them is going to get to the finals. Either Fritz or Tiafoe will be a finalist. If you win the semifinals, you go to the finals, right? And you could end up playing Sinner. And I would think that would be interesting if that was an American at New York at the U.S. Open playing against kind of a disgraced Yannick Sinner in the final. That could be quite an atmosphere Sunday.
Do we think if he was ranked number 125 in the world, he's still playing?
No. That's what people are saying.
I agree.
That's what people are saying. And they're saying that tennis, wanted to do something for their own sport by, sticking up for them. But, Sunday's a weird day because Adam just said this in my ear. Sunday is the opening day of the NFL. It's also the finals of the U.S. Open tennis. How many of us out there will forego watching an NFL game so that they can watch the U.S. Open final? Not very many.
You.
I might be the only one, but then I'll be recording the NFL on another channel.
Yes.
So I won't miss it.
Oh, you know what? That whole recording thing really got me over the weekend because I wanted to text you and Tony when the Aztecs were in halftime and it was 6-3 and they were down. I wanted to text. I hadn't seen that you were at the game.
Oh, so you were worried
that
you held back because you know I wouldn't want to hear the score.
I was going to type Aztecs, ha 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 ha, just to be a jerk, but I never did it.
Yeah, well, I saved you from being a jerk, so how's that? That's a good thing for you.
Thank you very much.
By the way, Sunday is also the return of my favorite person in all of sports, Scott Hansen.
Still working on getting him on. So.
He's back Sunday with the Red Zone. I cannot wait. I have to make my yearly call tomorrow to my cable company to make sure that I'm still signed up for it. I don't want to. Yes, I do. I don't want to take any chances. I don't want to tune in Sunday and find out that I didn't pay the bill. The Red Zone has to be operating, my friend.
I can't. I would love to be the other person on the other side.
Yeah.
Hello, Mr. L.O. Yes, this is
your
yearly
Red
call.
Zone is good.
Yes, nothing has changed. You still get Red Zone.
Got to make sure I get Red Zone. All right, we'll take a break. More Gwynn and Chris on the way.
Whit Merrifield.
Whit Merrifield, the whining Whit Merrifield of the Atlanta Braves is the subject of our next segment. You'll find out why after traffic. We had so many people out here, and the hopper is jam-packed. There's still a chance for you out there if you're getting off work soon. Come on by the Buffalo Wild Wings. We're right here in Mira Mesa at the corner of Mira Mesa Boulevard and Reagan Road. And we're going to be giving away 2 more tickets to the Padre Astro game on September 18th. And we're going to be giving away 3 more Buffalo Wild Wings for a year.
For a year?
A whole year you get Buffalo Wild Wings. So all of that still ahead. We're going to do it at 5 o'clock. There's a bunch of folks here waiting for their opportunity to win. But you know what? You could be the winner and just still be on your way over here. Just get here by 5.
I don't want to discourage anyone from coming, but this is the most entries I think we've ever had.
Oh, it's been a huge thing. And Kevin and everybody, part of it is because Buffalo Wild Wings is a pretty good place to go.
Well, that too. And it's a great location, honestly.
It's really right here in the middle of town in Mira Mesa. Yeah, it's a great spot. And we're having a really fun day out here. Want to thank everybody who has come out, who's won prizes already. And, again, Kevin and the staff here, they've done a good job.
A really good job.
I mean, Kevin knows, and you know how weird I am. I mean, I'm weird in a lot of ways. But one of the ways that I'm weird, I love my Diet Coke with a lot of ice and some lemon in it.
Yes.
That's the only thing I ask.
It's not.
But most people don't pull through. Most people.
They're like, who is this guy?
Most people give you like 2 cubes of ice and think that's a lot.
Okay,
it's not.
2 cubes of ice is not a lot. And if we're going to be talking about this, and Kevin did a great job of filling up your ice.
Right.
Because I am an iced tea drinker now that I don't drink any alcoholic beverages.
Yeah.
And iced tea usually melts the ice. So when someone brings me a drink with a bunch of ice, they did it right.
You do it right by doing some ice. Now, if you have not been to Europe a lot.
I have.
Okay, so you know my biggest complaint with Europe.
Well, they don't have ice.
They hate ice.
Yeah. And they hate flat water.
They absolutely hate ice in Europe.
It's
and for that reason, I cannot love Europe. I like Europe, but I can't love it.
Well, you can find ice if you want to.
I went to a Burger King. The guy filled up my entire large cup
Why
with
are you
soda
at Burger
only
King?
Because I wanted ice. And I thought I could get some ice at the Burger King, and they still gave me a cup with
And so they
ice
just gave
in
you
it.
liquid.
All liquid, filled up the whole cup
That
and
is
handed
gross.
it to me.
And it was warm soda.
Yes.
That is gross.
I'm like, are you serious?
That is really gross, I gotta say.
As John McEnroe would say back in the day, you cannot be serious.
You cannot be. So when I was in Europe, I didn't understand the first time I went about the carbonated water. That's how they drink water there.
Yeah, they're
and
weird.
We were
over
in
there.
we were in like 150-degree Rome weather, and all I wanted was just a big, cold glass of water.
Good luck.
And I went to go chug it, and it was sparkling water. It was carbonated water, and I was like, what is this?
That'll wake up your body in
will.
a hurry.
It will.
All right, Whit Merrifield is the complaining Atlanta Brave, who is the subject of our segment right here. Now, here's what happened. Look, Whit Merrifield has been kind of whining all year. He started with the Phillies. There was something about his jersey uniform or number. I don't remember. The Phillies
that.
gave up on this guy. He's a former All-Star. Now, you remember the story. Now it's coming back to me. A fan tweeted out that Whit Merrifield wasn't even good enough for anyone to want his own uniform. Remember that?
Yes.
And Whit Merrifield came back at the fan and said, I wondered if they want my All-Star uniform from Kansas City.
And I agree with him on this.
Oh,
why are you sitting on your couch taking shots at a pro athlete?
I'm going to take shots at Whit Merrifield because yesterday, poor Whit Merrifield was in the batter's box and got brushed back by a high, hard one.
No, I think he got hit.
Yeah.
You said brushed back.
Welcome to Major League Baseball. Guys get hit. You're not the first one. Whit.
Yeah, he got hit in the head.
And he's not the first one that's got hit in the head.
So you're mad at Whit Merrifield for being mad that he got hit in the head?
Why don't we hear what Whit Merrifield had to say about it?
It's ridiculous. The way the game's at right now, it's just ridiculous. We lost Riley. We almost lost Mike. We almost lost Darno in the span of 2 or 3 weeks. The way pitchers are throwing now, there's no remorse for or the regard for throwing up and in. The guys are throwing as hard as they can. They don't care where the ball goes, and they can't. You can't hit a guy anymore back. There's no fear that, if I hit this guy, our guy's going to get hit. That's not in the game anymore. Pitchers don't have to hit anymore, so they don't have to stand in the box. And the teams are bringing pitchers up that don't know where the ball's going. They throw 100 miles an hour, so we're like, all right, we'll see if we can get the guys out. Just set up down the middle and throw it as hard as you can. And it's driving me nuts, and I hate where the game's at right now with that. And I'm on the rules committee, and we got a call tomorrow, and it's going to be a long conversation on what we got to do to make pitchers think about. I just took 95 right off the head. I'm very lucky that it got me in a good spot, and I got to go get a CAT scan. I'm out of the game. He gets to stay in and pitch. I'm probably not going to be able to play tomorrow. No repercussion on his part. And, I mean, without being overdramatic, that was my life on the line right there. So I'm sick of it. It's happening way too much. I watched Taylor Ward get hit in the face last year, have to get reconstructive surgery. Justin Turner got hit in the face last year. It's happening.
All right, I think he goes on for a little bit more, but I think we got the gist of it.
I got a couple of things to say. One, cry me a river.
Oh, my goodness. You have – what's going on?
Two, I do agree with him in the sense that baseball is just way gone over the line when it comes to guys who are throwing so hard and don't have a clue what they're doing.
Yes.
That is true. And so with that, I agree with him. The notion that a guy can throw 101 miles an hour, so because of that, he can be brought to the major leagues is ludicrous.
No, it's not. We're seeing it all the time.
That's the part. I'm agreeing. I'm saying it's ludicrous. They got to stop doing that. They got to start making it to where we can find out if somebody can actually pitch before they can get to the major leagues.
Yeah.
And teams are not doing that. But as far as the other thing, look, Whit Merrifield is wearing a helmet. He's probably got body armor on. He's got shields on his arms, his legs, and everything else. This is something that in the old days they did not have. And he's not the only guy getting hit. Jurickson Profar's been hit 19 times this year.
How many times have you been hit in the head?
No, I don't know. No one wants to get hit in the head. I'm not condoning that. I don't think it was on purpose. But that goes back to the fact that these guys are coming up and they don't know where the ball's going. He said he's going to meet with the rules committee, and he said he's on the rules committee.
Oh, which is great.
Okay, what's he going to do?
I think there needs to be some sort of punishment for a pitcher that has no control. Like if you throw 8 straight balls, you need to come out of the game.
Wow.
Or if you're throwing over 100 and you're nowhere near the zone, you
can't
come out of the game. Because
no, you can't. So good try.
All
I mean,
right,
what are you going to do
You hit
about
a batter,
this?
you're out. You hit a batter in the head,
really?
You're out.
Forevermore now, a
Yes.
hit batter, you're out of the game.
Because Whit Merrifield is right. This guy's throwing over 100.
All right,
hits him in the back of the head.
So what are you going to do?
He could easily be unconscious. He could easily die. He could crack his skull.
Okay. And what are you going to do when Paul Skeens, the hero of Major League Baseball, has a perfect game with 2 outs in the 9th inning and throws a curveball that bounces off the toe of Jurickson Profar?
That bounces off the toe?
He's out of the game? You just said anybody hits a batter, they're out of the game.
No.
That's
I said
what
hit
you
in the
said.
head. I said hit in the head.
And suspended probably Paul Skeens for that.
I think if you hit someone in the head, there needs to be some sort of
Okay, so just flat
system.
out. So flat out now, if the ball hits a batter in the head, pitcher gets a suspension, fine, taken out of the game. What if the batter ducks trying to get under a breaking ball and it bounces off his head? That's
this
okay.
is where it gets murky.
I know. It's always going to get murky. That's the problem that I have. Whit Merrifield is not the first person to get hit. He's not even the first to get hit in the head. He's one of the few people that has complained this vehemently about it.
Here we go.
And honestly, he sounds like kind of a whiner to me.
What if we do this? You're going to hate this, but I'm going to say it anyway. What if, when you get hit in the head, instead of just getting first base, you get second base? Ghost runner.
And on your way to second base, you get to run by the mound with a bat and hit the pitcher over the head before you get there.
We're gonna have to bring this back up when Tony's on the show because I want to hear it. Tony's the one who actually sent this to us, so I'm curious to hear what he has to say.
And Tony also used to have to stand in there against these guys.
He stood in against the Aroldis Chapman.
I know he did. I don't know how they do it, man. I'd be scared to death.
Which is more impressive? Tony being able to foul off a 105-mile-an-hour pitcher, or Aroldis Chapman still pitching 14 years later.
I'm going with my guy Tony on that one.
Me too. All
right, we'll take a break. Big Five is next. Gwynn and Chris continuing from Buffalo Wild Wings. You got anything to add?
I do not.
Okay, we're on our way back in a minute.
Not sure.
He might be the guy for you.
It could be.
He might be. DJ might be the guy. All right, Buffalo Wild Wings, Mira Mesa. Location, corner of Mira Mesa Boulevard and Reagan Road. New location, only 7 days old. Jam-packed in here today, watching sports, enjoying our show, and winning Padre tickets. We got some more to give away at the top of the hour. Before we get to that, though, time for traffic and then a Big Five.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danek.
Traffic is sponsored by Air Max, San Diego's highest-rated heating and air company. Visit them at airmax.com. Still a number of trouble spots here. Southbound side of the 805 at La Jolla Village Drive. Vehicle fires got the 2 left lanes blocked. South 163 past the 805 collision over the right shoulder. We've also got an accident on the northbound 163 Balboa off-ramp. Heading up the coastline, northbound 5 before Tamarack. Reports of a stalled car in middle lanes. Looking for the best in HVAC? Choose Air Max, San Diego's highest-rated heating and air company with free diagnostics on all repairs and estimates. See why over 1,300 happy customers have given Air Max 5-star Yelp reviews. See Air Max today at airmax.com. I'm Kelly Danek with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's that time of the show when we check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big Five starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
A reminder to stay tuned for the Eco Water SoCal Padres pregame show with Sam Levitt on 97.3 The Fan. That's going to get started at 5:40 tonight. All right, let's get into it.
Number 5.
Now, Chris, this is the White Sox question that I was asking you. And the
Yes.
Padres are finished with games outside of the Pacific time zone. They have one flight remaining that will be longer than 2 hours and 15 minutes. I believe that's to Seattle. But the Padres just have 22 games in the season's final 27 days. They finished with 6 games on the road with the Dodgers, then the Diamondbacks. But the final 3 regular season home games are going to be against the White Sox. So we talked about this earlier, Chris. Is it sweep, or this is what I said on the Skraby show last night, is it sweep or bust when playing the White Sox?
It always feels like it's sweep or bust, but you can't look at it that way. I mean, look, the Yankees lost a game. Wouldn't they lose 2 to the White Sox, maybe?
I'm not sure.
Anyway, crazy things can happen. So you don't say that, but you certainly want to take care of the White Sox. I think it's interesting. That's the second year in a row that the final home series of the regular season, or the second time in 3 years, they're finishing with the White Sox. Because 2022, when they made the playoffs, they wrapped it up while they were facing the White Sox.
That's true. I remember
in the final,
day.
final weekend of the season. So I might have to go out to see the White Sox just because I want to say I was there to see one of the worst teams in the history of sports.
I kind of do too.
It's kind of, there's this, that little part of me that likes to be part of that stuff. I mean, the White Sox could be trying to make history that weekend, by losing their 121st game. So that, to me, would be interesting. Otherwise, there's just 3 more games. Obviously, you want to sweep. I know what you're asking, but
because
you can't say
bad.
3 or bust, because if they lose the game, what are you going to do? Quit?
Yeah, I guess you're right. But, is it sweep or bust when playing the White Sox? I said last night that the White Sox are playing so bad, it is sweep or bust. And
I know.
It depends on where the Padres are at this point in the season, because then they'll have 9 games left at that point when they start the series with the White Sox. They'll have 9 games. And if they need those games to win the division, then they have to sweep. But if it doesn't really matter, then there's no reason to sweep.
Well, they're going to matter. Those games are going to matter because they're going to be coming up ahead of 3 games in L.A. and 3 games in Arizona.
Yes.
So those 6 games are going to matter, so the 3 before them are going to matter too.
All right. Let's go to the next. 4. Now, we just talked about Whit Merrifield, and Chris is not a fan of his, but Los Angeles, this is not about Whit Merrifield.
We're going to do more Whit Merrifield?
No, this is not about him. But Los Angeles Angels flamethrower Ben Joyce was a little extra amped up last night after throwing a 105.5 mile-an-hour fastball. On the TV screen, it registered at 106, which I've never seen in my life.
Did it get anywhere near the plate?
It was a strike.
Oh, a strike.
Strikeout.
Okay. All right.
Tommy Edman actually was the victim of that strikeout.
Okay.
And it's the fastest strikeout pitch in the pitch tracking era since 2008.
Yeah.
And the 3rd fastest pitch ever recorded Tony's at-bat against Aroldis Chapman in 2010 is still the fastest pitch at 105.8 miles an hour. It's proven there are guys who can throw 105, Chris. I'm up first. Are there guys who will be able to hit 105 if this becomes a thing? I've been thinking a lot about this lately. And I think that if the speed on a fastball keeps going up, hitters biologically, genetically cannot catch up. How can their reaction time get any faster? It's already minuscule reaction time. And Tommy Edman looked at this thing, he swung over the top of it. He's like, what am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah, well, the
pitchers have the upper hand anyway.
Yeah, but you know what? In the day when everybody's throwing 105, then batters would be able to hit it. It's the same argument I would make for those people who say, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, those guys, they never had to face 100-mile-an-hour fastballs. Let me tell you something. If they had to, they would have hit them. Great hitters are great hitters, and they'll figure it out. And guys that can't hit, 105 won't make it to the major leagues. But I hate Ben Joyce type stuff. It's not, I don't hate him.
Just power fastball.
It's not his fault. But just, he throws 105. He finally got one over for a strike.
That
Good
is
deal.
true.
I really still like to see pitchers. And that's why, I made such a big deal the other day about watching that Greg Maddux special. Because I just love guys that could pitch and outsmart hitters. And obviously, I have to agree with Whit Merrifield when he says those days are kind of long gone, and it is sad for baseball in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it is.
So
right.
I agree with you on that one, Whit.
Number 3.
Now, the first ever NFL game in South America is set to take place this Friday in Sao Paulo, Brazil. We've talked about Josh Jacobs saying the NFL told them not to wear green, even though both teams have green as part of their team colors. Now cornerback Darius Slay had to backtrack after saying he didn't even want to go. He said on his podcast, quote, I don't want to go to Brazil. You want to know why? I'm going to tell you why. They already told us not to leave the hotel. They told us we can't do too much going on because the crime rate is crazy. I'm like, NFL, why would you send us somewhere with a crime rate this high? I told my family, do not come down there because I'm not going to be nowhere to be found. Basically, he's going to sit in his room and not leave.
His grammar is about as good as yours.
I was reading his quote.
I know you were.
Chris, do you think he has a right to be concerned?
I think he has a right to say something. I do. I mean, if you're going somewhere, even if it's not to play a football game, if you're going somewhere and before you arrive there, they say, whatever you do when you get there, don't leave your room.
Yeah.
You're going to kind of wonder why the hell you're there in the first place, aren't you?
Yes.
The NFL's already taken over the world. And maybe this is an unfair trashing of Sao Paulo, Brazil. I don't know what life is honestly like there. But if these guys are concerned, then why couldn't you pick another play? We don't need to play in Brazil to make the NFL any more money. So, yeah, I'm in agreement with Slay on this one. Darius Slay's my guy here. The NFL.
Number 2.
Yeah, it's good. I'm good. Thank you, Adam.
I'm with you. The NFL does whatever the NFL wants to do to make more money.
I mean, how? Look, they played the Miami-Kansas City game last year.
In freezing cold.
So why not go to the North Pole next year? You haven't taken over the Arctic yet,
I would
have
actually
you?
like to see that. Do an outdoor game in Barrow, Alaska.
And have the Dolphins play again since they're used to it.
Yes. Number 2. Fans won't have to wait until the Masters in April to watch golfers from the PGA Tour and Live Golf compete in the same event. PGA Tour stars Rory McIlroy and Scotty Scheffler have agreed. Oh, thank you. I missed it. Have agreed to face Live Golf's Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka in a made-for-TV match in Las Vegas in mid-December. The match, we all know, it was once a good idea. It has come a long way. From that. Then it got old. But now they're trying to reboot it.
Yeah.
I'm up first. Is this enough to get your attention? Answer, yes.
What?
Yes.
You're going to watch?
Because they're actually, it is an exhibition, but it doesn't seem like an exhibition, and they have some of the best golfers in the world. It's not just random people that wanted to do it and get paid for it. It's not Josh Allen and Aaron Rodgers against Bryson DeChambeau and Phil Mickelson.
That was a little silly.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I would be more inclined if you could tell me that if Koepka and DeChambeau win, that means Liv is better.
No,
And
that
I know
doesn't mean live is better.
Thank you. So then why am I watching?
Because of the competition.
I'm just putting more money in the pockets of people who already have more money than
you know
everybody.
how much I hate that.
Well, that's what you're doing by tuning in.
All right.
Your TV viewership is what is allowing the kind of payout to Koepka.
Yes.
You're putting money in Koepka's pocket. I think you're going to turn the channel now.
I might. All right, last one. Number 1.
Well, maybe that was number 1.
Oh, there it is.
No, okay.
All right, this is basically a question just for you because I have this light outside of my house that I have to turn left. The light, so it's a T intersection.
Okay.
And the light coming out of the neighborhood is usually pretty quick. Like it recognizes that you're there, just one car,
Yes.
and it'll switch everything, and it's a pretty smooth process.
So you have to go to this in order to get out of your neighborhood. You have to get past this light.
Well, they've been doing a ton of construction, and for some reason, the light does not recognize that there's a car there anymore.
So you're waiting the usual. Even if there's no cars anywhere, you have to wait 5 minutes.
No cars. So my idea is, here's my question, Chris. Is it crazy for me to call the city of Carlsbad and complain about this? Yes, no, I'm getting from Jeff Hambone.
I'll tell you
it's
what,
crazy.
Skraby.
No, it's not.
I'll tell you what.
What?
Give me the number. I'll call on your behalf.
Wow, we got him. Thank you very much.
Yeah, because
Chris.
I feel your pain here. Sitting at a light while there's no traffic going by is tantamount to stupidity as far as I'm concerned, but you have to do it.
I don't want to run the red because I'm going to be the guy who runs the red, and all of a sudden a cop is going to appear out of nowhere and pull me over.
I know.
All right. That's it for the Big Five. When we get back, we'll see if we have some Mike Schilt, and we'll talk more about the Padres on 97.3 The Fan.
So my man over here came by a little bit ago with a great
some man.
My man. I said
Oh,
my
my
man.
man.
I didn't get his name. So I'm going with the my man, Tony Gwynn version. My man came by with the City Connect U Darvish jersey on, though. Did you see that?
Yeah, no, he was
looking sharp.
Yeah.
He's looking sharp. I think he went to the patio outside there.
He's a brave man.
He's a brave guy because it is rather warm out there.
Yes.
All right, we're giving away some more Padre tickets here, and we're going to give away some more Buffalo Wild Wings for a year. So we're doing that.
And I just want to let everybody
You're doing
know,
it live on the air, right,
yes.
Scrape?
I just want to let everybody know that Mike Schilt did not say anything that we haven't already heard, so we're going to be doing this instead of Mike Schilt.
Okay.
And you can hear the rest with Sammy Lev on the Padres, Eco Water SoCal Padres pre- and post-game show.
Okay.
All right, so this is for the Padres tickets.
The final three tickets. Or 2 tickets, sorry.
2 tickets.
2 tickets. Our third winner.
Joe Ruka.
Joe Ruke.
Ruke. Joe.
That's
All
what you get for
right.
doing it live on the air, Scraby.
This is fine.
You get dead silence.
This is fine.
All right.
Ben Smith.
I think Ben won something else. Didn't he win wings earlier?
He did?
I think he did.
Okay. All
yeah,
right. This
Ben's
is
having a
kind
big
of
day, but he didn't win that one.
This is kind of a disaster, but oh well.
I told you.
Ronald Wines.
Ronald's gone too.
Oh my goodness. Okay,
I told you,
here we go.
Scrabe.
I'm really digging deep on
I
this
told
one.
you. I'm
really digging
I'm
deep.
not. You know what? I'm just gonna let you die on the vine here. I'm going to stand over here.
Paul Hoover. Oh, right
Paul's
there.
right in front. All right, Paul, you got the tickets. Thank
nice
you.
job. All right, now we need to
All
give
I got to
away.
say about you, Paul, is thank you for being you and being here.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now we're going to be giving away free wings for a year.
Good luck.
3 separate of those.
Three separate
we
wings
are at
for a
Buffalo
year.
Wild Wings in Mira Mesa.
Hang on. My lovely vegetarian wife, Lori, just got here. Do you want to get your name in the hopper for these free wings for a year? No, she doesn't want to get in on that.
You sure? You sure?
She's
Okay.
sure. Yeah, she's pretty sure.
All right. I know he's not here, so he told me he left.
Okay.
Augustine?
Why did everybody leave? Nobody left.
Oh, he's right there. He's right there.
I was going to say,
Right there.
this place is packed full of
So-
people. I don't know where everybody went.
For all of you in the car, please come visit Buffalo Wild Wings in Mira Mesa. This is why we're giving out free wings for a year.
That's
So-
right. Augustine was here. He did win. Way to
Yes.
go, Augustine.
All right, so we need 2
Way
more.
to celebrate, very quietly, Augustine. We barely heard you there.
Alex Castro.
Alex
Castro. He's gone.
Next time I tell you not to do
selection.
that, every time I tell you next time not to do this live on air, you don't listen to me.
Austin Dobbs.
Scraby.
Wow, this is falling really flat right now.
This
is falling real flat.
Yeah, our program director Adam Klug is wondering why we are giving up valuable
Well, I thought this
airtime
would be
to do this.
Much easier. Christian Beltran. Christian.
No.
Oh, right there.
I was going to say, I thought it was more
right.
blank stares.
Okay,
All right,
one
Kristen.
more. Please.
Is that it? Wait a minute, the show is over. Sorry, we are out of time.
We've already selected that one. Adam just played the outro music.
Adam's playing the goodbye music.
Nate Cobb.
There he is. All right, Nate. Good for you. Good for you.
Thank you. Free wings for a year.
Free
for
Buffalo Wild Wings for a year.
All right. Thank goodness that's over.
Man.
I thought, we did
What
this.
do we talk about now after that thrilling segment?
I don't know. It didn't take long enough, let me tell you.
Yeah.
When we did that. Idiot. Hey, Skraby, back off, okay?
I'm an idiot.
Wait,
you should play that other one, Adam. Isn't this great? Or what?
Yeah,
what was that one?
It's by
Man,
itself.
I am stinking up the joint.
That's another one. You have
There's
so
one
many of
by
them.
itself in its own row.
Yeah, anyway.
So
Everybody. Well, this is just great, everybody.
There
Yes,
you go.
that's it.
There
That's
you
it.
go. That was you.
When we were downtown a couple weeks ago, the reactions on air were great. We had
Yeah.
San Diego Drew and his girlfriend.
I know,
and
but
they were
you're
like,
you're
"Wow!"
always taking a risk when you give away stuff live on the air that people are going to have gone home.
Maybe I should do it at the 3 p.m.
You just realized
3
what can
p.m.
happen. But
yes.
now we really had everybody came out, and there's still people here, but a lot of people came out to try to win those tickets and win those Buffalo Wild Wings for a year. And again, thanks to Kevin and everybody from Buffalo Wild Wings for having us up here today. Not only, is this location pretty cool, but don't forget Saturdays, if you live anywhere in this neighborhood, where I'm sitting, there's 40 TVs within my view.
Yes.
So that's how many college football games you could be watching at once, basically. And that's what Buffalo Wild Wings is for, basically. Wings and food and
TV.
And TV and watching sports. And they got the direct TV for Sunday.
I told you.
And the whole thing.
I came to Buffalo. You think I'm joking when I
No,
say
I don't.
every single week when
No,
I
I
was
don't
living in
think so.
Cincinnati in 2010.
Yeah, you wanted to see
Every
your
single
team
week,
play.
I watched the 49ers play.
You wanted to see the Niners play.
And this Buffalo Wild Wings was the only place I could find in the area that was able to air the game.
Now, do we know tomorrow night is the opening
What day
game.
is tomorrow?
Tomorrow's Thursday.
Okay.
Tomorrow night is the opening game of the National Football League. It'll be the Kansas City Chiefs home to the Baltimore Ravens. It will be, as far as I know, and Adam can correct me, it'll be the only Thursday night game that we're not carrying. Or maybe there might be another.
I'm not sure, but I know
There's another couple of conflicts. Okay. But because of the Padres, we won't carry the Thursday
but it
night
will
game,
be
is
on,
what I'm saying.
I believe Adam just said in my ear it's going to be on KCBQ tomorrow and Friday.
Okay, so tomorrow night's game will be on some sister stations. You got the Chiefs and the Ravens tomorrow night. Do you have any fantasy players going tomorrow night?
Not really. In our league, no, not really. I mean,
That's right. You're only in 4 leagues. You must have somebody going.
I have to talk about our league on the show because everybody's familiar with that league. I don't think I do. I'm not quite familiar with my team. What about you?
I don't have anybody going tomorrow night, but my opponent, who is Connor, my godson, he's got Zay Flowers going tomorrow night.
Oh, good.
So I am worried that Zay Flowers is going to open the season with like a 4-touchdown performance and, bury me before the season even starts.
I would be worried too, not because it's going to happen, but because that's something that happens to people like you and I.
Yeah, it does happen.
But Zay, if you're a Baltimore Raven wide receiver, you're not going to be heavily involved in the offense.
But all they got to do is throw a couple of long ones to you, and I'm in deep trouble.
I really wanted Derrick Henry, but he went off the board way too
He went early.
early.
Friday night, it'll be Green Bay and Philadelphia. Now, I will not watch that game because I am not subscribing to Peacock ever again, and we all know why. But here's
I don't know. Do we know why?
Yes, because Yes, I think everybody's heard me complain enough about it.
Okay.
But here's my sneak for Friday night. For all of you people out there that are kind of like me. The
Weird?
Eagles, weird. The Eagles-Packers game Friday night is being carried at midnight on the NFL Network.
This is ridiculous, everybody.
So all you have to do is not hear the score Friday night, like I will probably try to do, and then tape the NFL Network from midnight to 2:30 in the morning, and then the next morning, Saturday morning, you wake up, you have a little breakfast, you enjoy the Eagles-Packers game.
But what about the score and all the other scores around sports that you're not checking because you're trying to avoid the score?
It's just it's something you either make the commitment to do it or you don't.
I really have a problem with this DVR.
I know you do. You can't do it.
I can't do it.
But you ask my wife where I'll be at 3 a.m. Friday night. I'll be up watching the Eagles-Packers game.
Lori, do you find it as weird as I do?
She does.
No, she says no.
She
says
thinks
no.
it's pretty weird. But
she's got your back.
I know she does. But, we have a lot of people up here. But please tell her that when we talked about the fantasy league earlier, the props that we gave her for getting an A draft this year in our fantasy league.
That's true.
She did a great job. and her team is ready to take
Your
the field.
team is stacked.
It's not bad.
You got the number 2 pick, right?
She did.
That's a good pick.
She took C.D. Lamb, and
That's a good
I think she picked Josh Allen this year.
That's a great pick.
So she's looking pretty solid. But anyway, so yeah, the lovely one is here at Buffalo Wild Wings with us. But that's Friday, Saturday. Then Sunday, it's all about Scott Hansen.
Yes.
And you watch
7 hours of commercial-free football.
come
starts
on. I mean, it's the greatest.
now.
It's the greatest thing television ever invented. I don't think there's ever been. Name something that's as impactful as the invention of the red zone.
DVR, Adam says.
Oh, just the whole DVR.
Yeah.
You're right.
If
to
we're
have
in
the
the
DVR,
sports world, I would say the first down marker was.
Oh, you mean the yellow line on the field?
Yeah,
that's
stuff
a good
like
one.
That. The score box in the
score
corner.
box. Invented the score box, don't you?
No.
You don't?
No.
Our friends at Fox.
Oh, I think I maybe did know.
Yeah,
that.
football used to only be on ABC and CBS, and then 30 years ago, whatever, Fox got the rights for the first time.
Remember this.
And it was when Fox was still a relatively new network. And they had The Simpsons, and they had a few other things, Married with Children.
Oh, yeah.
But Fox didn't really have a lot of programming. So to get the whole network on, in the minds, they got the NFL, and they started the Fox box. It's called the Fox box.
Interesting.
And if you watch a game from, whatever it is, 25, 30 years ago when Fox started the Fox box, the graphics have improved.
Oh, tremendously.
I mean, it was like, it used to be this little white box up in the corner. It used to say like LA and then SF.
Yes.
And then they scratched out the score 7-3. And
someone's writing it.
Yeah, right. And there was second quarter. But it was an amazing thing. I mean, nobody thought to do it.
I wrote an article. This is switching gears on the sport, but I wrote an article for 97.3thefansd.com 5 years ago about the single-handed greatest invention in TV history for sports watching.
Okay, so you've got something.
Yes,
it's better than the red zone.
It just got to
better than the Fox box.
It might not be better than a red zone, but it's definitely better than the Fox box.
Okay.
But when golf has the shot tracer.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's
a good one.
Because you can't see it unless the shot tracer is following it.
No, that's a good one. I like that. I like the golf tracer.
Yeah.
That makes golf a lot more watchable.
Do you know how they do that?
Yeah, some guy sits in the truck and with a pencil and he just kind of draw. No, I don't know how they do that at all.
That would be funny though.
Yeah, how does that work?
It's like the same technology as Doppler radar.
There's not anything in the golf ball itself, is there?
No, it determines something that's moving fast, and so it locks onto whatever is in its area.
And it just follows that flight.
Yes, and they have all the stats like how many feet from the middle it is.
Oh, no, it's
pretty
amazing. It makes golf a lot more enjoyable. No question about that. All right, we'll take a quick time out. We have one final segment to go here. And I have something that I want to get to that happened in a Padre game almost a month ago. Now, maybe 2 weeks ago. But Major League Baseball is finally getting around to righting a terrible wrong.
Whoa.
We'll explain it after traffic on Gwynn and Chris.
Wow.
on the board.
Yes.
Filling in today
Thank
while
you,
we're out
Adam.
and about. Of course, Tony's down at Petco Park. He was on with us earlier. Skraby and I are at Buffalo Wild Wings. I don't know that we've been able to, acknowledge every name of everybody who came up, but like Dusty, very cool. He came up, introduced himself. He didn't win anything, but, just being here and having fun, and a lot of people. I mean, the turnout was really good.
Oh, yeah. This has been a really fun broadcast.
So we really appreciate everybody who came out and came up and said hi, and I hope everybody had a good time. We certainly have had a good time. Our guy Hamby took care of matters over there in the promotion area, and his friend Dante Bichette over there, who doesn't know who Dante Bichette is. But his name is Dante.
I don't think I'm legally allowed to ask Dante how old he is, but I don't know that he was even close to a Dante Bichette
Not
sighting.
born in the Dante Bichette era.
No.
Yeah, but Dante was our assistant over there today. So everybody pitching in to make it work on Gwynn and Chris. We have a caller out there, Paul.
I believe so, yes.
And he wants to talk about the greatest invention ever. Because we were
sports.
talking about, the Fox box. I'm talking about the red zone. You're talking about the golf tracker that follows the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Paul's got something he wants to nominate from what I gather. Paul.
What's up, guys?
Not much,
too
man.
much.
What you got?
Yeah, I want to do a little old school. I want to go back to when it was easy to watch a Padre game on Channel 4. Every day, Padres, Uncle Teddy. I didn't have to stream. I didn't have to look for it. I had my Padres every day, every night.
This
Channel
is
4
right
was
up Chris's alley.
Yeah, Channel 4 was
Thank you, Paul.
great, and look what they're doing now with the Padre TV. It's at least affords us the opportunity to watch the game every night.
They didn't have a choice.
But
Valley Sports went bankrupt.
I understand that, but I'm saying what Paul is bringing up went back in a simpler era.
Yes.
Where, there was Padres TV on Channel 4, and we all watched, and, you got it. It was, look, you're familiar with Orsillo and Mark Graham.
Yeah.
Mark was on those broadcasts on Channel 4, but it was just more of a local flavor. Whereas what you have now is kind of a national thing with local broadcasters. So I get what Paul's bringing up. But you know what? I was thinking about this during the break, too. And the most important invention in the history of sports, entertainment, right?
The Rock, I know.
It's very simply, and I know you may balk at this because you don't like these guys and what they represent.
Okay.
But there's nothing bigger and more wide-reaching in the invention of sports world, entertainment-wise, than ESPN.
Oh,
it's not even close.
They were, of course,
it's really not even close. It was 1978, Skraby.
If I could turn. Thank you. Wow. Adam's getting
Some of
pretty good.
us can remember that long ago, but in 1978, there was no ESPN. Like, there wasn't. It
What did
didn't
you do?
exist. You watched. There was two things I did for sports. One is I listened to a radio station in L.A. called KFWB. And the reason I listened to it is because at 15 and 45 past every hour, they had these score updates. So you could follow the progress of games. The only other thing you could do is watch your late local night news to get a highlight or two of the Dodgers or the Angels, maybe a highlight from one other game if something really crazy happened.
That is wild. I mean, because I've only...
That's all you got.
I know.
I mean, imagine that.
Like ESPN...
Seriously.
I can understand why ESPN is a game changer because they brought sports into everyone's living room across the country.
24/7.
24/7. And nationally. I can understand that for sure. The ESPN that's today, I'm not interested in.
It's different now. You're right. It's so corporate now, et cetera. But when they first started, also, you got to say about ESPN was kind of weird, Scrabe. They really had weird stuff on. Like, they didn't have a MLB contract.
Oh.
They didn't have NFL primetime at the beginning.
You want to know what I listened
They
to?
didn't do NBA games. They did Australian rules football.
Okay.
They did equestrian.
Yeah.
They did whatever in the world they could do to fill 24 hours a day. And then they put SportsCenter on once or twice a day, which was kind of their one show. But other than that, it was pretty barren there for the first 5 or 6 years of it.
I think everybody who's ever watched ESPN in the 90s will know what I'm about to talk about. But I love the strongman competition that was on ESPN.
The strong.
Thank you. I
There
will
you
do
go.
that. Because you know how they take the keg and they have to like throw it over their head and then they're taking a tire.
Was
and
that the
having to
same as
drag
the
it?
lumberjack competition?
No,
They used
but
to have
that's
those
pretty great too. No, they still have those.
They had some crazy stuff back in the day.
It's pretty awesome.
I mean,
have
think
to
about
say.
that. It took until the 90s to get the strongman competition. That meant that you had to go through the whole 80s before you even got to that.
That sounds brutal.
Yeah, ESPN was not what it is now. But ESPN changed it, honestly, for everything and everybody. And that's just, there's no arguing that. You can't, very similar to what happened in 1981, 2 years later, and stop playing the song, Adam, because I'm getting annoyed. But in 1981, MTV was invented. And what did that do for the whole music industry? But MTV did the same thing for music, in the entertainment world.
It did.
All of a sudden, everybody had to make a video, and you got to know. Anyway, you know what happened.
My question is, who is still making music videos? Because they're still making music videos.
Oh, yeah, they're just not on MTV. You got to look elsewhere to find them.
MTV was a thing that I watched growing up because TRL was on there with Carson Daly. They had this show called True Life. They had a bunch of other shows. Now, I don't even know what MTV is.
I don't know what they show anymore either, but I will say this. MTV nearly flunked me out of a semester at San Diego State one year.
What?
Because you would get up in the morning, Skrabe, you'd come out to the living room, and you'd put MTV on, and you'd say to yourself, just one more video.
Oh.
And then I'm going to class.
And you never do.
One more video, I'm going to class.
And
then one more. And then one more. And before you knew it, class was over. That happened more than once to me.
Okay, so this is a little embarrassing, but when I went to Colorado State, AFI came out with a music video for the song Miss Murder.
Okay.
Skip class to watch TRL to watch that video.
Of course.
2006 this happened.
Well, I mean, this is a long time ago, but those are the things that changed the world, with all due respect to all of our little other things.
Do you think this changed the world? Wow, look at this transition.
What, Sports Talk Radio?
No.
Oh.
About to bring up a situation.
Oh, what?
DeMar Hamlin is going to be starting in Week 1 for the Bills. And it's the first time he's actually started since his incident in Cincinnati where he had cardiac arrest on the field.
Okay.
Now, my original Big Five question, and then I replaced it with the stoplight question, was, is DeMar Hamlin something that we're going to be talking about in 25 years as a moment in sports that we'll never forget? Because I feel like it's already kind of went away a little bit.
Yeah. My wife asked me about DeMar Hamlin this morning, actually.
Random?
Yeah. We were talking a little football. She goes, where's that guy? Does he still... She didn't remember his name.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to remember his name, I don't think. But
we will.
But people will remember where they were when that happened. I think. But not that... No, not life-changing to people.
Because at the time, I feel like it would have been life-changing, but over time, it's just gone away.
I don't want to even be morbid.
If
it would have had a worse outcome, we would remember it for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, JFK being shot would have been JFK being shot had there not been
we don't talk about Reagan's assassination attempt because
Reagan,
it didn't happen.
It happened,
or it happened, but he didn't die.
That's right. All right. Here's one thing that Major League Baseball took too long to get right.
Oh, yes, that's right.
2.5 weeks ago, the Padres played in St. Louis against the Cardinals. Hang on, sir. We're doing our radio show, so we need just a little room. Thank you. So the Cardinals are playing the Padres. There are 2 runners on base at the time.
Yes.
Michael King is pitching to Nolan Arenado.
Yes.
I don't think there was a score in the game. Arenado hits a bullet, about a 99-mile-an-hour shot off the bat that bounces in front of Tyler Wade at shortstop, explodes past him.
You've said this the whole time, by the
into
way.
left center field. And I thought, that's got to be a double. 2 runs scored. Cardinals took the lead 2-0. They went on, I believe, to win that game. They called it an error. And Tony and Jesse thought it was an error also.
Yeah, they did.
On the broadcast.
They did.
But I thought to myself, in this day and age of baseball, they call everything a hit. And that ball was really scorched. I thought they would call it a hit for sure. They didn't. They called it an error. The runs were unearned. Michael King's ERA was not affected. I don't know if Nolan Arenado complained. I don't know if anybody complained. I don't know what happened after that.
I want that double.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Today, 2 weeks later, Major League Baseball has announced that was no longer an error on Tyler Wade. It is now a double.
Which is
all
very
of this
strange.
time later. So Michael King's ERA just changed. Nolan Arenado's batting average just changed. And the RBIs.
I know. Adam just said, I don't know if he went out over the air, but it affects fantasy matchups that we just had.
I know.
Because I am someone who had Michael King, and I ended up, the ERA thing in our fantasy baseball was very close. So I'm going back to check, but I don't know how you would go forward from there.
Yeah, so if you have a week-to-week fantasy baseball is what you're talking about.
Yes.
And you had Michael King, they're not going to go back and change your ERA now.
No.
But
corrections. Here we go.
But in a fantasy baseball league that is ongoing all year long, like I'm in, like I do have Nolan Arenado, so I'm expecting that an RBI gets added to my team total all of this time later.
It's right here. Michael King earned runs too.
Yeah, isn't that fun? I mean, it's just kind of strange. To me, there ought to be maybe a statute of limitations on something like this. Right?
Oh, yeah.
If you didn't change your mind in the first hour,
are they
then,
sitting around?
You know what? We're not going to change it.
Are they sitting around watching this play over and over and
I don't
over?
know.
And they're like, okay, actually, you know what?
That's
It was a
why,
hit.
right? I could get it later in the day, because people were talking about it, or after the game, Arenado called up to the score booth and said, "Hey, come on," or Mike Schilt even called up and said, "Hey, you can't call an error on my guy." All right, I get it, but 2 weeks later, everybody's forgotten about it.
That's very true.
And now they bring it back up and they say, "Oh no, that was a hit."
That is very true.
So that I found really weird. Really weird, but that's how we end our day. Tomorrow, we're back in our studio.
Yes.
And we'll be on at 2 o'clock.
Yes.
It's opening day in the NFL tomorrow.
Yes.
We also have a Padre Roundtable tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. sharp. Don't miss that.
Nice.
We'll all be involved. And then you and I tomorrow afternoon with Tony from Petco Park. So make sure you're with us. Thanks again to Adam back in the studio. Everybody here at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Thank you, Adam.
For Tony Skraby, Chris Ello, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday evening, everyone. Good night from Mira Mesa.